Benkai nggak expect nih ada shield nih. Oh ada. Mampus kau. Terming Chow kanina nih.
Wait, Kang's chewing gum right now. Maybe that's the key. Should I go to the gas station and buy myself some gum after this? If he hits a shot, I'm gonna go buy gum.
Oh anjing.
What brand?
Oke, turun nggak satu.
Ini masa kalah sih?
Nggak mungkin dong.
Ya kali bro.
Ya kali.
Ya kali ya.
Sumpah, sampai kalah gue pindah ke Cina sumpah. Gue mau ketemu
I'll go buy one of every brand. I need to figure out which gum has its powers.
Aduh, janganlah Tens, jangan makan gumnya. Pasti ada herbal Cina nya.
Pale, halo guys. Anjing 4-3 ya? Ini ya? Resolusi mereka?
Mirip sih Benkai sama nih orang.
Beda ya.
Makanya begitu kan. Woi brother.
Saudara ya.
Tentu dia nggak pakai line up nih.
Iya anjing. Lempar tengah kan?
I really want to see how Forsaken plays. How he's gonna play the
Nice banget
Because actually, like, I took a lot of stuff from Forsaken on Bind personally, because I actually like the way he was using the character on Bind.
Nice, mampus tai.
Rata anjing.
Hello.
Hello kid kata dia.
Ini sampai dia pakai klasik 1/5 gue bayar nikah cong. Mau 3 kali juga lu nikah nggak apa-apa deh. Mau kayak nikah cerai nikah lagi nggak apa-apa.
Is there a sage wall here? What is that on the map? There's a fucking sage wall here.
Ayo Der.
Nggak apa-apa, gue bayarin, sumpah. Gue pegang omongan gue. Ya 13-7 nih.
13-8 anjing.
Sebenarnya nggak susah sih Maple. Gue paling suka Maple.
Pro enak anjing.
Pro gue suka.
Gue suka Pro. Dulu nggak suka, sekarang suka gue. Buat main race enak soalnya.
Cuma gue nggak suka kalau main sendiri. Soalnya kan gue mainnya
Kan OP juga cok, dibales anjing.
langsung kah? Gak ada savingnya ya. Respect dah. Dia udah tahu tuh dipantekin. Dia kayak also play Chemba ini. Oh enggak.
Have so much control over the extremities here. So much space. I mean, Jing is just getting monstrous information and only pays for it with a single wallbang bullet.
Still down to the minute mark in a round.
Like, look at how much info he has.
He does have to be cautious now. Star being dropped. Bit of spam through the wall. There's that trademark in place.
Pusing dia masuknya anjing. Ketahuan.
Bingung kan lu?
Bingung kan masuk mid-nya kan?
Gimana?
Digebuk. Pindah ke A. Tinggal geser.
Nggak bakal jadi masukan itu di wall.
Oh iya.
Di slow.
Cina satu lagi nih. Harus ke Cina nih.
Oh, hanya retake.
Ya ampun.
Hanya retake.
Nggak kelihatan masalahnya.
Jangan. Trying to stay alive here. Benkai to the back as well. That's going to be util dumped into it. The nade try and push
Gue percaya sih ini sama Ron. Percaya banget gue sama Ron.
Oh, it needs to be taken, Forsaken with the operator. He doesn't want to overstep himself.
13 detik.
To the back of the side as well in secret. Just trying to deny it. The time is running so
9 detik.
low now. Pinging it on the pre-fire angle. Fight's being taken, but he just needs to spam this and he wins. He just needs to spam it and he wins, but he's found out.
It's a close round.
Kodel kalah ya?
And one that EDG
Apa?
takes away.
Kalah ya? Lu berapa tadi? 13 berapa?
13 juga.
Oh belum. Sih belum semua.
Ya,
Yang suka Maple, aku suka kamu juga. Waduh. Agak serem ya.
When the rounds get tough, and when the fast plays don't work, do they have those adjustments, those pivots in the middle? And they did here. They faked a mid-doors push, immediately rotated everybody quickly through art, and took a pinch into A. Played the post plan with discipline.
Ke atas gitu kayak anak nerd
Some
gitu.
great play coming out of EDG on their attack.
Parah dah.
Good information gathered.
Yeah, that is a fantastic knife lineup. Perfectly catches onto Forsaken. Not only do they know his position, but most of the time that's
Marshall,
going to force a
anjing.
rendezvous.
Berani
Dia
banget
line
ya.
up di tengah itu dia. And he's still disrespecting it, still holding this angle.
Oh, ketahuan anjing timingnya.
Kangkang's just lurking all the way through,
Nice
tries to
dive.
get the spray down for the 2K, but eventually he's going to be shut down. But it has pulled players from PRX on the defensive side. Leaning over towards that B area.
Take my gun.
Anjing nahan banget, Cok.
Making his way through Art,
Ngabang.
making sure
Jebek.
there's no
Menjebak.
late look plays
Ini
over
Haudong
towards A.
tolol
Going
aja.
1-for-1 with the chamber does benefit EDG. Pumping the brakes here is a gorgeous call from
Ke B
Haudong.
lagi ya.
It's going to allow him to work off the Viper wall and
Tetap
deny
ke B.
Main fake ke B.
especially with that trademark going missing.
Udah jangan
It forces
overthinking,
Benkai to play
jangan
towards mid
overthinking,
doors.
tetap ke B.
And now Jing's got some control over mid. Benkai can rotate back. EDG have an opportunity here to commit to B, but they've got to be quick now.
Yeah, they have to be fast.
30 seconds
Information is
left.
already gathered prior. That's from Mindfreak. Nice sees over
kena
the
dong.
top. That's onto just one of the players. Smokey gonna be trying to go for this plan.
Spike
Benkai.
planted.
Oh, the angle is there.
What?
Wants to take the fight, but the weaponry was just not ideal. I believe just a stinger in his hands. It's gonna be this flank coming up into the top of B. There has to be a player watching this angle now, and then you have it.
Mati satu.
Oh,
Nggak ada.
It's perfect, but he moves his crosshair away.
Jing thought he got the kill.
He just assumed he had it.
Whoa, what a kill from Smoggy. And that allows him to deny the
Baju.
Sage wall as well. Mindfreak
timingnya.
17 health, no shot. He manages to pull off another clutch like he did in the first half.
He's pretty much just already given it up. No attempts to make his way over towards the spike, just seeing if he can take the guns away. Not even getting that though, just has to back away and save his own rifle.
Apa-apa saving nggak main fit dah.
8 is gonna be the
Acok tuh yang
scoreline.
udah ini
Edward
13-11 nih.
And I gotta say, I think it's a beautiful time to highlight it, Josh, here. Edward
Kalah Kodera.
the first time on the international stage, but also playing with a
13-7
7-4
lewat.
Kayak 13-11 sih
going
bener Acong.
toe-to-toe
Terlalu
with the
ketat, Cok.
finalists of Copenhagen.
Yeah, and that is spectacular. Of course, Pearl is a map that we don't have any info about. We don't really know how good PRX are on this map compared to the competition. But I can tell you that PRX look prepped, and they've got some good ideas, and they're playing the info game well. And EDG are still managing to find opportunities to outplay them. This is
Ini masih adaptasi nyerangnya mereka gimana?
EDG, they're a last chance qualifier team. They shouldn't have had a lot of time to prep on this map, on Pearl.
Anjing nggak kena.
It's the opener for us. Clean as ever. That's Kangkang. Easily a bit of
Jelek banget tuh
tip top
reconnya
there,
si
the
ini.
rifle spam as well, going to be supplemented with the help of his
Bentai.
teammates. Nade over the top, and a satchel. We use Jing. Of course, you want to take the
One
fight
Jing.
again. Unexpected. Forsaken. Oh, you're taking some liberties with that one, Divide.
Nice one.
Spike
Still
down A.
safe hands apparently with the sheriff in his hands. This is a hard fire reminder. PRX are quick to
Seperti
answer
itu
back.
guys.
Ayo
and
Dut,
this could
bisa Dut.
quickly get crazy.
Pai.
Divine are
Itu
well
benar
placed
apa yang ada bulatan tengah biru bukan yang emas. Itu yang ini namanya kaos THAOS.
Dari Jing full yang penting itu.
One of these bodies at least is going to open up.
You are divided.
Interesting wall.
Yeah, just cuts
Dia
Divine
kenapa
off.
nggak mau revive
I
yang
think
di
Divine just
ulti
wants to
lu.
play quietly here.
Gila,
Just chill,
gitu aja
play
di
off the
ulti.
back of your ult. But Jing, as ever, going for it.
Showstoppers online.
Nih, timing ini,
Whoa!
timing ini.
There is no saving it for a rainy day because the Thrifty is in their hands.
Nice
What a
banget.
round one.
Davai, nice banget Davai.
Nice
Just
banget,
showcasing
anjing.
that they have
Nice banget sih Davai.
talent in spades as well.
Dapai, let's go dapai.
Respect dah Malaysia dah.
Have a wealth of
Respect,
it.
respect.
Jing, this repeat
Malaysia.
on
Ini udah
Kangkang
berani
is
banget loh si Jing lawan si Chamber aja.
Kangkang's got the most kills in the server at the moment at 16, and Jing is so unafraid. Of course,
Oh,
Respect
caos. Kalau di spek boleh melayang nggak? Iya ya, yang terbang gitu, keluar gitu.
that is what you'll have to see. Oh, for players like these,
Sumpah itu
what
pasti
a
anjing.
joy it must be to be back on the biggest stage in Valorant.
Ini mereka
Feels
kayak
like
pakai
they
skin
were
champion
only
kasihan
just
banget
off the
Valorant.
stage, PRX.
Iya bener juga.
But you get that itch. It's gotta
Jual
be scratched.
mahal-mahal.
PRX as well have not
Jelek
had to
anjing
go
menurut
through
gua.
groups at any point this
Nggak
year.
bagus, iya
They were
nggak
able
bagus,
to just
emang
go
nggak bagus
straight into
menurut gua.
playoffs and do fantastically in both of our Masters tournaments. Now they are in, I would argue, the toughest group that we have here at Champions. Especially if EDG is going to be playing like this. And it's going to make for some fantastic games. But it's also going to test PRX. Nobody is safe in groups like this.
I don't think so. Not when you're champions, obviously 16 teams.
Lu jadi daftar yang turnamen Metako nggak?
coming together.
Nggak tahu. Kayak belum ada ngomong.
Just,
Capstone of the year, isn't it?
it really is.
Daftar, kita daftar
At
deh.
the moment, PRX
Daftar lah
managing to
kepada.
take that thrift
Iya, gua
and
daftar.
spin what should have been a 9-8 lead for EDG into their favor, pushing EDG back onto a thrifty of their own.
Udah daftar.
So in effect, that's a
Oh, ini mau daftar.
2-round swing
Habis ini.
right there.
It's massive. It's one of those that you look back at in the VOD reviews and it's that pivotal round that changes the entire map.
You can argue that's a 3-round swing. It
Dapat
goes from
double
8
guardian.
to probably
Oh,
8-10,
nobody
as
sama
long as
Smokey.
PRX are able to
Nanti aja
stop
Cong
a
abis ini Cong.
thrifty on the other
Ya
side
emang
of
habis
things.
ini.
Jadi lu siapa
We
aja?
haven't really seen this Viper
Biasa.
wall getting a ton of value.
Full team.
Maybe this is
Gak
one of the
full team.
rounds.
Lu,
Trademark.
Daryl, Daryl.
It's gonna be a play.
Nice.
The trademark, he gave Jing all the information. He
Kang
double
Kerry,
satcheled over the wall.
Memi. Anjing.
What a demonic play. Joking. And I gave all the information for the kill.
Oh, di wall. Dia di atas wall ya,
Get that one
Dia
in
di
a
atas
highlight reel immediately.
Ya.
I think Jing's been on TikTok.
Yeah, I am speechless. at that. But that's the kind of preparation, obviously, that you can come into a map like this with when you are PRX.
I think Jing
Had all the time in the
bin
world
off.
off the back of
Dia
Copenhagen.
dia pakai set cuma buat itu doang, Cok.
Ngehe anjing.
Tapi menurut gua worth it sih lawan tim
Benkai
kita,
did
gua
say
gak
at the
peduli
end of
deh.
Copenhagen, we're always going to keep it fresh.
Cuma bisa
We're
OP dong
still going to be
ngehe.
playing aggressive.
Mampus.
Terkaget-kaget anjing.
That was a PRX special. And
Mampus.
Jing follows it up, taking out Kangkang, removing the tip of the spear here, takes out
Nice.
nobody as well.
Nice.
Terus Jing,
Cleaning
terus
things up.
Jing, terus.
Let's go Jing.
Bit of a slow
Majuin.
start to the map, but it was
Nice.
really
Kayak lagi
firing
last one.
all cylinders.
Set.
It's so important, I think, when you're playing against a team like Edward Gaming.
Yo.
You have to keep up the confidence.
Nah, dapat.
And Jing's just messing with him. Jing is just
Oh, udah dikasih
messing
tahu
with
Alex
him for
nih.
the
Jangan
divide
overpick
flank.
lagi.
An.
Ooh! Outdog reads it.
These are not players you really want to be messing
bye.
with, even.
Astaga, bisa timingnya pas segitu.
There is mechanical ability in spades.
Nah,
On either side.
Gue nonton dari Valorant langsung. Lebih
This is
cepat.
the lead that we were talking about.
Show me that
Kalau gitu
replay.
jangan
and
ini anjing.
try it in your own ranked
Spoiler,
games.
tai.
mau lah rakit.
What
Walkie
a
tie.
gorgeous angle.
Enggak. Ya gue diam.
The slight trigger
Gue
there of the
nunggu
trademark.
reaksi lu
I'll tell
pada
you
baru
what,
gue
if that is a
bereaksi.
heavy B hit,
Gitu
you
ya.
could easily
Oh,
get
nge-lag ya?
Oh yeah.
with a setup.
Lebih ini
And it makes the Viper wall.
resolusinya.
It
Oh ya udah.
kind of neuters the Viper wall. This time,
Itu gila anjing. Itu even nggak pakai wall loh. Itu nggak pakai wall sih tadi
choosing
kulit.
not to commit
Emang
it
iya?
over on
Nggak
B.
pakai.
Di atas kayu.
Faster play though. That's giving no command and that nightfall.
Kupeng
Di atas kayu yang
Scatters
itu.
through.
Yang di mid.
The one tag, of course, the disrespect being shown still by Forsaken, but he's gambled onto the wrong angle, and kills are being found.
Fuck
One
orang.
after the other.
Kiri lu kon.
Benkai. Behind the wall, this is a position that he's been playing
Makanya.
time and time again, but does he have the teammates to try and bail him out of it? Bit of a spam angle. Things are there to try and line it up for him. The answer is yes. PRX are coming through with the guns. Still the spike is planted, but damage more than done with the Resurrect online. It's now
aduh,
the
hoki
3v2.
banget.
Have to play inside of this pit. We'll just spam it out. We might get lucky.
140.
Nice.
Stray bullets coming through.
Kalau main kayak gitu
Low
itu
now,
kayak
he's repositioning,
kemenangannya
moving his
bisa
way through a tap of the spike.
70%
That's gonna be,
naik
I
loh.
believe, the pull
Duh, si
to
Eciko
offset that.
bangsat.
The back of their minds, they know that nobody's going to be onto this one, and still taking the fight once more. Another tap with the smoke in play, and what a clutch in the end of it.
With a Vandal inside the Viper's pit.
Just
Pinter
breaking all
banget
the
orang.
rules, isn't he?
Every
Viper
shot
itu.
magnetic onto the
Mau
head
aja
from
mirip lu,
Chichu
anjing.
there.
Gua kalah.
And that, I think, just
Dengan
showcases how
Pacong.
strong the ult is too.
Pacong ya,
Doesn't matter
13-11.
if Chichu is in a 2v3 with 10 HP. One bullet, I think, was all that he had. Oh,
bullets
two
left.
bullets left.
10 loh darahnya padahal.
But that is the final bullet in the clip. That again magnetically finds the head of Benkai.
Tadi pas dia ke belakang itu nggak di spray ya, yang sama si
Gua suka tuh main tengah tuh,
Medafai.
tanggal banget tuh. Main bos lain cut anjing kaki goblok.
It's a very fast round off of largely pretty slow play, but look at this. All this positioning being gained up B long now. by
Siapa
the
sih namanya?
defenders.
Nobody ya, terus
And this
Mogi.
is the conditioning. EDG don't want to go towards B because of the trap plays, because of the trademark.
Angle anjing sih.
Forsaken almost punished there.
Push.
Felt very low.
Love
Udah
this Viper smoke as well.
cabut.
All of the Viper utility being used in combo. And if you use the trademark on B long, it's not there at mid doors.
Maverick
And that
begitu
is what
scope, anjing.
EDG have decided to pivot towards.
Aduh,
Watch
ketularan ye babi,
Fight still,
ADS.
Okay.
That pull.
Need to worry.
Vulnerability, I think, onto Chichu. Tries to go for the wider swing, but that is great crosshair placement.
And those are the kind
Nice.
of fights that EDG winning
Easy,
in
main
their
free
online
udah nggak
games
usah
where they just
respect.
force the battle. But PRX good enough to punish them for it. And now PRX
So
are
FIFA,
infiltrated
Nah,
everywhere.
Lu lihat ada yang ngefang tuh, 2, 3 orang ngefang, 1 orang narik retake.
Chaos just being sowed. But that's the way that EDG like it. They thrive
Wah,
in the
ngumpulnya di
chaos.
A, jingmai.
Want to try and
Ini ke A
retake,
nih tapi nih.
obviously. They're wondering, okay, are they on A, are they on B, are they in mid? Haidong has the timing.
nggak
Haidong
jadi
has the
plan.
timing to be able to get this plant down.
Takut dia,
So they
Yeng.
could have tried to go aggressive, look for a pick. This is a very
Dia kalau stay di
unorthodox
heaven,
plant location as well.
untung dia. Kalau
Smoggy's got a great idea here. He knows that Divide could be around there.
expect itu, expect dia.
I think Divide is aware. I think he might have just seen the edge of his model. Double satchel play across. Tip tap there. Reset of the aim is good enough, but he is being flanked, I believe, from behind. Player from under there. Divide actually going for the wall to try and lock off one of the angles. It's a double face in the end. Mindfreak does win out that fight, and now this wall is causing all sorts of issues. Eventually, will fade away, but the spike is being stuck. And again, the angles watch. Mindfreak, this guy is a demon when he's on the stage.
Nice, Mindfreak,
Nice.
Copenhagen, honestly, Brent. Mindfreak had poor performances at the global level for every land that he'd been to before Copenhagen. And then he turned up and he was talking about how much
13-10
more seriously he was
Ini
taking
4 second gak dapet loh anjing tadi. Aduh.
performance. And I don't think it was a one-off.
Kayaknya belum panas sih.
Mindfreak anjing gila, sakit banget aimnya.
Seems to be replicating itself again in this
Soalnya
map.
bayarannya paling gede coy di
He's
champion.
kept up that
Emang
pace
iya?
magnificently.
Iyalah,
with
pasti.
4K in that round.
Mindfreak.
The ult to clutch things
Enggak,
as well.
maksud gua kalau di champion kan gaji paling pasti lebih gede daripada turnamen-turnamen sebelumnya.
Iya.
If they're able to put away this anti-eco,
Bonus sih.
Pakai phantom smith anjing.
Spam
Udah,
comes
Bang.
down with the
Benka ya?
bundles.
Itu orang weird aja emang.
They are going to be winning this one out. The reset of the
Oh,
aim, Benkai.
what the
We need a
fuck?
bit of help surely from the rest of his team. Down to 15 health.
Bentai pakai
Skipping and
phantom
hopping away, but not
tai.
quite.
Might
Warbang
Phantom.
takes him out. 2v2 and a fast flank from Defy right behind them. It's so quick.
Oh,
Ini dia bekantan Malaysia, Bang.
You don't anticipate it.
Bukan
You don't.
Malaysia.
ya nggak mungkin aspek anjing. Baru maju.
Ini sampai KO-nya nengok belakang gua gampar sumpah tuh. Siapa Smoggy?
Dafai maju Dafai.
Mogi anjing. Respect,
Respect,
cowok.
Aduh,
posisinya kurang
Just
expect
being
nih.
missed, the whip, the bullet, Chichu.
Nggak expect dia.
Oh, he wins it. What an important round as well. What do we map point? It's EDG
Dafai.
with a thrifty conversion off the back of
Monyet
Chichu
tuh.
clutching once more.
Anjing sumpah.
Chichu is so comfortable in these clutch
Yang susah
positions,
dapat, yang gampang
but
nggak
that
dapat.
never should have been given to him. He baited out a swing from
Kayak 4 second juga terlalu cepet nggak sih nge-picknya anjing? Oh kak anjing.
And Kang pop off.
Anjay.
Go get it, my son. Global
Anjay.
stage. Why
Digituin
not?
anjing.
The finalists of Copenhagen getting brought to round 22 here, and you still couldn't call it. PRX gathering all of their players up towards mid, expecting to go for some
Itu
kind of
der.
crunch. But instead, EDG, it's one of the first rounds where they pour players
Itu
into
heaven
B.
lah.
And it's a fast play. Star still being dropped down. That's going to be a pull to disrupt it once more as they hit a plan, and that Horde has not been dealt with. An easy spray down for Forsaken. The players lit up.
Ampus.
Christmas tree.
Mampus anjing.
Nobody's still
Lu,
trying to deal a bit
lu
of damage,
pikir
though,
Benkai
in the
bukan
midst of it.
Cina, dia juga Cina
Turns
cow
out
licik
the
goblok
tide
deh
of
orang
the
Cina
fight.
tolong.
Iya,
Makan
dengan
bakmi
Xbox
lu
causing a
anjing
lot of
banyak
issues for them.
kebanyakan
One popped
kebanyakan
up, just
apa
play. That's going to be picked
Tinggal
up, and now
satu
they
buat
go to
ini si
position it,
Benkai
but
siapa?
works his
Benkai.
way around. That's Jing again, causing all sorts of mischief in the play. Nobody
Okay,
sprays him. That's
No,
4
no,
kills
no,
in it
not
for
this,
him now.
not this
18
time.
bullets in the clip. Position going to be revealed. This
iya
is a
tahu
wall-bangable
lagi,
angle. The
bekantan
Horde
lagi,
didn't
Cok.
reach. It didn't, but he's still slightly aware. Too many angles to watch for. Device should be favored.
Huge,
125 health.
huge,
He
huge,
knows
huge,
the
huge,
position
huge,
of nobody.
huge.
Nightfall to play with. If nobody thinks he has a
1
moment
SP.
to unleash it.
1 SP, 1 SP,
This
Pai.
one shot will do it. One shot is
Pai,
all it
udah.
takes for Devi.
Pai, lu ngapain sih ganti-ganti
He
aja?
gets redemption for the previous
Nice
round,
one,
where he
nice
should
one,
have been
nice
able to put PRX onto map point.
Bangsa.
Manages to do
Halo
it
Seradit,
himself.
apa kabar?
12-10 the
Enak
lead
tuh
here.
kok. Bagi ambil.
PRX.
Oh,
Nice,
nih.
nice.
And the fast play, this is one of the first rounds where we've seen EDG go for a fast play.
Tapi emang pemain-pemain Cina kayak gini yang buat emang buat seru sih jujur aja sih. Maksudnya kayak nge-taunting gitu-gitu.
Maksudnya gitu dibalas.
Ah, cuma Benkai bisa bahasa Cina coy.
Oh iya, iya.
kayak Niman Kama teh.
Lancar ya.
Tetap nas punnya ya nonton.
Kan gak ada yang ngerti kan di sini kan. Ini sih nggak apa-apa.
But now they have
Aduh,
no
nge-whip
edge.
try.
Oh my goodness, they just about see him. Either his feet
Huge,
giving him away or
huge,
what, I'm not too
huge.
sure. Down to Mind Freak, and this guy has
Astaga.
been capable of
Bener acong tuh 13-11.
real scenes before.
Ini sampai
Unless
But gonna be
dia nggak
losing.
berani lawan Mind Freak.
You can have a side, mate. We're not
Manfred
going to be dealing with you anytime soon.
dikejar aja bukannya di.
They've left Chuchu here to cut off the
Oh, buat nyari
rotate.
info suara.
But what happens in a 1v3 is that Mind Freak is actually given this opportunity to make it a 1v2.
Yes.
If he's aware that somebody could still be
Thanks,
lingering, doesn't even think about it, and Chichu's gamble pays
Aduh,
off.
nggak expect Manfred.
11-12, one away from overtime. And what a bizarre round that was, Bren. And it knocks the PRX economy back down.
100.000 nih.
Look at
Orang
how
aja
this one
hadir
played
tadi
out.
aja nggak
They
bilang
fake the
apa-apa.
Nightfall into A. Counter Nightfall
Jadi.
comes out as well. And PRX decide to push into mid, anticipate. There can't be that many players in mid if they're Nightfalling A.
Aduh.
Instead, everyone from EDG is
Ikawan lagi ya,
to
PRX ya.
collect the crunch. What a massive advantage
Menang nih, guys.
EDG have in this final round.
Ini kenapa sih orang
Big ultimates
PRX tuh
online.
terserah dia
Huge
mainnya cowok.
economic
Iko
advantage.
enggak
This should
apa
be an OT
enggak.
match.
Iya anjing.
Oh soalnya udah last round. Oh iya never mind dah.
Ini 4 second
My
ambil
bad.
off.
Out the
4
window,
second
I think,
ambil
for
off.
where we thought the
My
map
bad dah.
might be going. Not many people, I think, would have predicted
Anjing
Pearl as
NF.
our opener.
Not at all.
Dude, as soon as I know Forsaken has his ult,
Wih,
Force
knife
being
it.
unleashed.
Cong, pelajari lah cong. Anjing.
Gue udah lihat itu dari tadi.
Towards mid, and PRX have been getting aggressive.
Free clear.
So I like this
Udah,
passive
gua udah bisa
positioning. He
kok.
dodges the Prowler as well. And now,
Lu,
as the
lu
IGL,
nonton ini sambil buka
telling the
Valorant,
rest of his team
cok.
to fake with the haunt over towards B and actually bring their players back.
Nggak mungkin ini kan
Look
mereka
at
mainnya
how
pelan,
aggressive
makanya bisa pakai
PRX
knife
are
kayak
again.
gitu.
Itu yang punya senjata belakangnya dong kayak Manfred
been
ya.
calling that it was a deep prowler.
I mean, he doesn't realize this time.
Timing is absolutely everything here. Right in their faces, a fight being taken, and of course your favorite there with a stinger. Bit of an exchange of weapons as well onto the ground. That's going to be an upgrade for Kai.
Bangsat, finger anjing.
There with the C's, but at the end of the day, they do have that positioning, and time is running so low
Aduh.
now. Down to 40 seconds.
And look how PRX go from
Udah,
being
udah untung,
extremely aggressive
sabar mainnya
up in mid
Fitri.
to abandoning it
Sabar.
completely. They can play with the time, with the player advantage. And EDG have to worry about all of these spots.
Ada 4 second di B.
They had everything to bring this to OT.
Jangan dimain di
And
heaven dong,
suddenly,
kan dia ada smoke buat
it looks like it's
heaven.
slipping away from them.
Kan?
Just turned on its head, it feels like, but with the Vipers bit down, there is a potential opportunity. Tap of the spike, but time is running so low. On top of this, Forsaken, that tour de force from earlier.
That's
Well,
the
it's coming in
spike.
handy. Spike dropped outside of the pit. You can pick it up, you can try and plan it, but you position it. It is known
Oh, there's the
absolutely
spike.
everywhere, and there is not enough time on the clock.
Let's go.
Quite a pickle,
Wah
young
bener
man.
acong anjir. Nice one cong.
Nice one, Cong.
13-11, that's a
Wah,
score,
Cong.
I can't believe it.
13-11,
It is
bro.
PRX that managed to come away with the win on
Niman,
Pearl. But I gotta say,
Oh,
this was a
again,
smart pick from EDG. We'll only tell as the tournament goes on whether it's them that are good on the map or whether PRX maybe, you know, aren't as comfortable. But I was not expecting map 1 to be this close between these two teams. I think PRX have showcased that they have the talent and the awareness, the strategy to be able to contend with some of our best teams. If they can keep that up over the course of the series, it's still winnable. Listen, even if they lose, I think that this has been a spectacular opening showing.
Sebenarnya muka-muka kayak pemain PRX ini kayak dia kan mungkin polos-polos semua kan, tapi jago-jago itu kayak paling ngeselin.
IQ tinggi, bukan main anjing. Bayangin dia masih dapat loh. Nggak full buy di push anjing. Ah 2-0 ini mah anjing. Ha apa mentality breakdance anjing.
Our opener here for champs.
Yeah, we've got a very good map for both teams coming up next. Icebox is gonna be a slapper. Both chambers fighting. Normally Jets on either side as well.
Icebox
What a way to open up.
pakai duitnya sih PRX.
Map was a delight.
Yes, certainly it was.
Enggak
pakai.
Confidence that the
Enggak.
gaming players are showcasing has been second to none, and I'm so glad they've come.
Itu kenapa baju basah nih?
Like PRX as well. We go to a short break on the other side of things, of course. Our analyst desk taking down and breaking down all the action and going to set up that critical map number 2, so don't go anywhere.
Gimana koko-kokoku? Lalu GG guys.
Lu lagi daftar, Cong?
FK dia.
Ada di balik smoke. Nice. Yuha atau Yuha careful. Yuha lasin.
GG PRX, GG bro.
Gigi banget, gigi.
GG banget anjing. No cap, cok. Gila.
Gelo anjing. Emang masih muda sih, reaksinya gila sih.
Yang udah tua mah susah anjing. Gila, cok. Sumpah. Comeback kasih 5-0 kan awalnya. 13-11, cok.
Jago, PRX jago anjing.
No cap, cok, no cap.
Anjing, cok. Bayangin lo pacarin yang umurnya 23, cok. Anjing, tolol. Cuma gua udah di ngomongin,
Gelo mana anjing.
Nah, gak mau tahu gua juga.
Kalau CS gue mah Europe lah. Popcornnya jatuh. Guys, lem reward yang ditantang di itu gimana?
Ada.
DG. Itu tim mana sih?
Cina.
Oh, Cina.
Gelo anjing.
Keren. Icebox. Bapak-bapak guys, icebox guys.
Box ya.
Icebox nih. Bapak-bapak.
13-7 deh, sama deh.
13-7
deh.
Acong berapa kok?
Acong kayak lagi toilet dah.
Oh iya.
Choosing to study in the UK is the best decision that I've ever made.
It's about taking ownership of my life and also being independent.
It's a boost to your CV.
I'm on my way to a bright future.
Oh iya benar juga. IDG main sama substitution, Cok. Bukan
iya, yang apa? Dia punya
lagi COVID kan, lagi nggak enak badan.
Ya yang sakit itu dia duelis ya.
Oh, satu roster ya.
Iya, itu duelis ya. Main duelisnya dia yang di sub.
I see.
Makanya mungkin dia main nggak pakai duelis ya gara-gara itu.
Iya, ngisi betul.
Harusnya dia sign lu, bego, Cong.
Main apa aja bisa.
Apa?
Gila nih. Main apa aja bisa.
Jet bisa, Fate bisa. Apalagi.
Race bisa.
Smoker bisa.
Astra bisa. Enggak, jangan Smoker Astra bisa. Sova bisa.
Sova bisa.
Chamber bisa.
Chamber bisa.
Cypher paling jago anjing.
No cap, cok.
Paling molos-molos dikit lah Cypher lah. Tapi tiketnya sold out deh.
Tiket apa?
Tiket itu.
Oh ya?
Iya, tiket IDG. Apa
Champion.
Dia lah pada beli buat di resell gak sih?
Kayaknya ya.
Murah juga kok nggak begitu mahal kan?
Ya di resell lu beli $20, lu beli 5, resell masing-masing $100. Udah cuan
anjay.
Mahal banget anjing.
Palingan cuanin ya gua
$40
oke lah.
$50
orang yang udah jauh-jauh kayak misal kayak Son gitu-gitu, dia nggak, kalau misalnya dia nggak dapet tiket mau nggak mau beli, Cok.
Iya sih, benar sih.
Itu kan semua kan dari orang-orang luar yang datang.
Orang dalam itu, Cok. Udah belinya.
Enggak, mereka nggak dapat jatah mereka.
Oh, nggak dapat kan? Ya $100 juga gue bayar aja.
Iya, mau nggak mau beli calo.
Gue datang jauh-jauh. Gue JMK gue jual $100.
Ini main freak asik sih emang.
Gokil main freak anjing. Belum. Anjing tarik 80.000 aja yang nonton.
Kelas.
Dia
pakai Z.
Dia udah masuk Sentinel jadi content creator, Cok.
Buset. Lu lihat.
MLP ya? Si main freak. Siapa nih?
Jago juga anjing dia.
Ya, Forsaken nya jago lah.
Oh, Forsaken.
Ini main freak atau Forsaken sih?
Forsaken.
Main freak itu keyword main freak.
Forsaken
ya.
Forsaken.
Anjing cepet banget, tai. Nge-cheat anjing.
Kan lebih cepet, Cok.
Nggak usah ngomong kalau Tens mah.
Oh, yang ngeselin si Cheng Mincho Kanina.
Kangkang udah kayak itu tai yang Marvel.
Kangkang.
Sumpah, Cok, mukanya ngeselin banget, pengen gua kangkangin, Cok, kaki bang. CS-nya beda jauh ya. Beda 20 poin. Tapi damage per round-nya gede sih Forsaken.
Jadi SCS-nya
SCS-nya 227 sama 247.
Dia mainnya OP doang.
Iya anjing, nggak bisa main ini. OP mulu.
Main jet anjing, bohong aja.
When you have a sub player, do you ever practice with them or no? Or do they join in on your practice? I don't, because Smoggy.
Yang ada dia kalah semua.
Good at shutting down, so I'm interested if there's any changes.
Yeah, we're into the Prime Gaming
Pakai duelis, Cok.
here, and so far everything looks like Smoggy's just gonna
Tapi
step
si
in
Magel
right into that jet position
Abu
like
ya?
we expected.
Yeah, it's looking bog standard for both these squads. A lot of teams, particularly in NA, have started to move to KO on this map since his buff is kind of that second initiator, but neither of these teams will go in that direction, and I think that is solid. This Fade comp for PRX has worked in the past. The way they use those cats on the attacking side to clear space, and also on the defense to kind of make up for the lack of someone besides that chamber to really hold down the mid control is super nice. On the other side, though, it's kind of comfort. It's standard for EG.
Yeah, I mean, double duelist coming out here for the side of PRX. I think that they're just going to be looking to very much push the pace a little bit here.
Yeah, I think also Divai is the one that plays chamber here, right? Which is something that we don't see on the other maps. I think we're so used to seeing Forsaken. But Mimi, what do you make of his chamber?
Yeah, it's been good in the past. Forsaken really only flexes when he's playing that lurk, which isn't always that same style that we see out of Divide. He often is. I mean, he said the two duels, he's oftentimes playing it in a role just like that, where he does get quite aggressive with his team on the attack. He's really flexible because you do have that fade to help in the mid control.
Yeah, I mean, this is also talking
13-6.
about PRX. If they win this, they're going to be moving on to the next upper bracket of this group, which means they'll play the winner of Leviathan or Team Liquid. And we spoke about this in the pre-show, but you don't want to be in that lower bracket in this group, because every single one of these teams
13-6, 13-7, 13-8.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we get to see all 4 of them play today. You know, what with that coming up as the second series, it's going to be absolutely crazy. So you want to be staying in that winner's bracket. Everything to play for here.
Yeah, let's jump into Icebox right now. Throwing this over to you, Bren and Saisho.
Thank you very much, Insu. Yeah, we're going to
Habis
get
ini ada siapa sih game-nya?
very soon here. And Icebox is one of familiar territories, as Deska's already mentioned as well. This is where we get to see how Edward Gaming are doing up against PRX on a map that they are very familiar with and they are very comfortable with.
I think the big question heading into Icebox is, did Pearl make EDG look closer to our finalists from Copenhagen, or are they actually Forsaken getting pushed away by the drone? Start things off, but it's Smoggy.
Early aggression, how do you come up with 2? And he wants a bit more. Fight still being taken, but that's going to be the right click and play. Should have ended up dealing with him. A nice and easy trade.
Smoggy is a pistol demon. He did the same thing in round 1 of Pearl. Ran forwards, got 2 kills, 3 kills in fact on Pearl. Instantly with the Ghost.
At this point, 2 players remaining, left scrambling a little bit. As you can see, Benkai now forced to re-clear out through kitchen. Watching for that mid-push because A's been compromised for quite some time.
And look at how good EDG have been at pumping the brakes when they get into a man advantage situation on the attack side. They did it on Pearl, they're doing it again here as well. Just take a moment, pause, make the PRX defenders spread out around the map. It'll set you up better.
A lot of damage done at the end of the day, but the kills returned for EDG.
Main freak.
And it's another great pistol round unless Mind Freak can pull off a 1v4. It just doesn't seem doable. Maybe if Haldon gives him a fight.
Yeah, not quite. Intelligent play, isn't it? Just a quick little peek, jiggle for the info. Now crossfire setup, so.
After me.
And of course, Mind Freak.
Contact after me.
Itu pasti kontak.
Worried about a flank coming through. Kang is there, but a long way away. And nobody's good for it. Shuts down both of those stragglers left alive.
And Smoggy in the pistol round again, Josh, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
I went
Ini 2-0.
with it in terms of the pistols. Honestly, getting off to a nice early lead, something to get the momentum going for Edward Gaming, I think bodes well in this map.
It definitely, absolutely does. The lack of life I thought was going to hurt them on this map, because Life is their jet player. Smoggy hasn't really been playing jet recently. They don't have the same agent pools, at least on face value. But Smoggy looked pretty good there just on the pistol. Not that it required too much of, you know, the jet play style.
Smoke-nya miripku sama kayak gua. Persis.
Kills are kills at the end of the day, aren't they?
Yeah, and they have
Jangan di-repick depan.
You can see that Kang and Smoggy do have that in play. That's one of the headhunter bullets. Just don't take it out in a double swing. Bit of run and gun, obviously, in play there when you got the Spectres. At this point, it's about making sure that you don't lose anybody else if you are Edward Gaming.
Yeah, you want to try and keep this as clean as you possibly can. Hardon, with a pistol,
I mean,
shooting the body.
You are literally reloading, son, because of that.
That is
bad manners costing you your life.
Okay, Kang still got it under control. They're not getting punished for it particularly. And Haldong, of course, only losing a Ghost, not too bad. But I think that shows us a friendly rivalry going on here within the APAC. Head to head.
And these two teams, you might think as well, being from...
Udah mulai songong.
Iya,
mulai songong nih.
Cina-cina bangkit.
Lu nggak tahu negara lu lagi kekurangan call. Goblok.
Said it was getting PRX getting to the finals of Copenhagen. He said, as an Asian, it was an
Sumpah, cukup makan abu nih orang makan mie mulu tiap hari.
Makan bakmi,
I mean, you can tell that Kang really does respect what PRX have done in the past, respect the players as well, but
mulai nggak respect. Ini abang loh ini. Bilangin aja nih.
Koko.
Exactly. It just helps remove all the nerves, doesn't it?
I think a conversion here of this bonus round for EDG would be fantastic.
Sampai di wallbang ya.
Bring up the same question that we did at the very beginning as
Gue
well.
lapor for cheating semua.
Was the first map close just because of Pearl, because of that unknown quantity?
Mukanya udah
or can they do it on a map that PRX are particularly good at?
Kayak siomay
It's
anjing.
very aggressive up here on A, but it looks like the spike is heading over towards B. PRX are very familiar with this kind of play, but Forsaken making some noise here, and there's two EDG players.
Taking a lot of damage, but the angle's still being watched.
Baited in.
Yeah.
Nice banget lihat.
And that's a nice player advantage to be able to cook up. How don't still left behind on what is going to become a strange late lurk. And on the other side of the map, despite not having many players here, PRX have still been that is unlucky for Mindfreak.
And I love this proactivity. Already taking the back of the side as well, pushing right past their own Viper wall here. Risks are being taken. And they're being rewarded for it. Eventually, though, that is going to be the trade. You can see the Jing was able to catch that one, and Chichu well caught with the util out in his hands.
But not getting the plant down has cost EDG here. Haodong is on the latest lurk of his life. He spent all of that time, Bren, just trying to pick up a phantom.
Nice, satu expect dong dari mid.
Ini kayak Mako ya mukanya.
Lebih jelek dia, jauh banget.
Gonna be the double face. Easily dealt with, and it was looking so good, honestly. I thought for a moment the game plan for
so jago lu.
So jago.
Gue liat so jago lu, gue liat lu.
Tengil.
Sumpah gue panggil cincin bang.
They take two away. Here's the replay. Divine just being able to pick up those stragglers as they kind of just contested one at a time. Wasn't particularly coordinated once they fought at the end of that round. But EDG, like I said,
tadi lu belagu lu, sekarang kayak gitu lu.
So now we get to see possibly just a single coordinated A push. The Viper
Kayaknya cowok makan tuh rendang, padang, anjing jangan bakmi.
Not destroyed. You have to expect that somebody's pushed. When that goes down, kills are being found though, and yep, there you go. Dealt with.
Bisa begitu, tapi nggak jadi.
Will jump up there onto the box, gives Kang the angle.
And if you were wondering at the beginning of this game, Forsaken and Jing just going to run over EDG, there's a round for you that answers the question. Taken down instantly by their counterparts, Kang and in this match,
rotate.
And I love the fact that they just pump the brakes every time that they get a player advantage. I think there is so many new teams to the global stage that will push an advantage as soon as they get it, without taking a moment to breathe.
Not willing to slow it down.
Never willing to slow it down, and that really was a concern for me with EDG, judging by how aggressive their players are.
Yeah, that's how they played.
But I think they're looking good here. They're just making sure that every advantage gets converted.
It was said as well, it was said in the interview we saw prior as well, that EDG really did get tested as well by teams the likes of Exet Optic.
In scrims,
pushed them to improve. They've made radical improvements in that short amount of time that they have been here.
And they said they knew what the next step of their game plan
was. Respect safe.
We're seeing it. Because there hasn't been this nuance before. You watch their online games, if you're a fan of EDG, if you're watching that East Asia.
Wah, nggak izin ini kagak.
Tampang-tampang 15-13 PRX.
Streamer kecil mau ngapain, Cok?
Yeah, that's the impressive part, isn't it? PRX just forced to save in this round.
Haodong had a lurk going,
actually, up towards the top of Tube. He just never got an opportunity to go for anybody.
Sebenarnya emang enak buat ngeplan di situ. Cuma
that same kind of lurk play up through Tube
riskan.
could be a possibility. Look at how Smoggy just jiggle peeks that and is instantly looking for the player supporting Jing. This showcases to me that
keculik dua di A itu sedikit bete aja.
It's so easy for a team to forget that there's always going to be someone to support Jing. But just noticing that there's going to be a trap there and being aware of where the players are coming from, I think that speaks very highly to how Smoggy and the rest of EDG are actually thinking about breaking apart these defensive setups. And it's another really good start to a match for EDG.
Aduh, Jing.
I'll burst onto the recon. Does avoid all of that one and a dash back.
Nice.
Collects that kill onto Kang.
Nice.
And it's still A aggression from PRX, but it's much more proactive. Forsaken dropped down to 1 health.
Kalah.
And that was slaying there a lot. Yeah, that was Howdon on the lurk. Last time he went up tube, this time
Udah tahu nih otak-otak Viper main.
And how does Smoggy and nobody play this?
Take flight. That's the question.
Nice, anjing champions.
Dangerous position to drone from. It's only Smoggy watching. Really now Smoggy trying to work off the back of the drone.
Nice. Maju, for second, maju.
Is known, they know it.
Jangan sekarang jangan.
Tube here, nobody. Through. Recon's gonna be really gonna warbagged him. That's my goodness. What a play. And nobody has been elite in the online stage, but now a mighty task ahead of him. No bullets left. That Prowler just about latching on to his heels.
Respect. 1v2. Respect.
Let's try and isolate a fight. Both of them, a single bullet will do it.
A single whiff, a breath onto Benkai and Forsaken would take them down. And look at this
anjing.
The back of his mind. He has shown phenomenal game sense and mechanical ability. He constantly plays towards A. Here's the footsteps. Seconds remaining.
Kai, maju Kai.
No need for a headshot, but delivers it anyway. And he has his ult to play off, a shock dart, a recon dart. Nobody is so intelligent in these situations. And he is outplaying PRX right now.
It's down to this. Forsaken versus the newcomer to the stage.
Wah, nge-cheat aja.
Nge-cheat sumpah anjing, sumpah tai.
Nge-cheat aja.
Sumpah dia tadi juga sumpah. Si Nobody itu tadi juga sumpah dia.
Where are the players playing up the ropes? I don't to clutch it through. Welcome to Champs.
Anjir kok.
What a
timingnya, Cok.
Nobody, this is his map. This is his playground. His Sova here is phenomenal. Managing to pick off Jing to start things out. Grabs the kill on Devai as well. And then this masterful clutch.
Udah bagus banget tuh anjing.
Two players with barely a shred of health, but
timingnya, Cok.
The way he played around the map was second to none. Yeah. And PRX forced to take a timeout.
Itu dalam hati pemain-pemain PRX ya.
EDG are getting off to
Yeah, you speak what I don't understand also.
PRX are forced to adapt. When they've thrown an aggressive setup when Jing was hiding in nest with Forsaken ready to peek. They've thrown aggressive.
Wah, itu masa bersahabat tuh Forsaken udah dek jangan masa bersahabat dek.
All trying to fight a belt. And both times EDG have dealt with it.
Udah menang game 1 kok, cile. Terus ya menang.
Clear angles and create advantages for themselves that they're able to clear out.
Such a class performance so far. I was so excited to see as well this player Nobody on EDG, how he would go up against these players, because I think this is his opportunity to prove that he is a top initiator player in the world. He's got the skill, he's got the game sense that we've been witnessing in this series. He just needs the scalps. He just needs the trophies underneath him.
Yeah, I completely agree. Nobody has been phenomenal from what I've watched so far. He's a star in the making. From a quieter position, obviously, than Kankai. But one of the stats that jumped out to me, actually, about Nobody, out of the, what do we have, 80 players in the tournament or something? He's in the 7th place for damage per duel. He's outputting huge amounts of damage even when he loses duels against players. His aim is fantastic and he takes such smart fights. Able to put his team in positions to succeed.
A bit of that early aggression. Fast control of B main. Orb going to be propped up. In fact, Mindfreak's even playing inside of this one. But Spam might do the trick on the half buy here with the Stinger in play. Hops over the top of it. His orb is going down. He is isolated, but still gets away with it. Just the one on line. Forsaken's got the knives. How do you not get punished there?
Nice. Udah cukup. Nice. Udah cukup. Respect. Nggak nyampe. Itu Howdong dari mid ya.
And that's another gorgeous set play that EDG are going to run. Nobody once more setting up space for the rest of his team as Howdong goes for a low. There is thought behind the play here, for sure. Because look at the chaos that's created within the PRX ranks. As they had a full stack waiting to collect all 5 players at that point.
Every burst of the Hunter's Fury using to clear an angle. Push the players into Howdong.
Aduh, belagu juga anjing. Itu muka udah kayak Chasiu Pau, Bang.
Uncoordinated in terms of how they're getting the spike down on B, but they're being able to create enough pressure in mid that doesn't matter.
Spike-nya di jet loh. Besok-besok gue kasih jet lah.
Jing opting for a more passive approach to the A defense. I think they've spotted where he's hiding though.
Breaking down portions of the wall. This is where Jing is in a lot of trouble. He's isolated. With shots like this, Kangang is leading the charge for his team.
Oh.
Bit of resin play though, a bit of disrespect being shown, but that's off the back of these footsteps that are being heard. Straight through mid now into orange. It's up to Mindfreak. What can he lock down? Is this angle going to be clear? Updraft over the top. Information gathered. Not sure if he looked down or not, but he actually did spot out the one player. The discipline was there.
What a beautiful clear that was. I mean, that was so well played from Smoggy and Haldong in particular. And now PRX put in a horrible position to try and clear this. The crossfire in kitchen.
Just pinched on, isn't it?
Dia jago gimana?
I don't know whether that's quite a verb, but I like it. It's all down to Defiant Forsaken. These rounds
sebenarnya ya, tim Cina ini main nggak pakai mikir loh. Dia ngeliat ada banyak, udah nggak bisa dipaksa, langsung full rotate cepet. Aduh, timing.
This economic damage that they're doing to EDG doesn't matter. Look at the bank. The death from Devi is more important than any of it. PRX managed to save a single operator, but no opportunity to get rounds on the board. And Bren, I think already our question has been answered. If we came into BAJU thinking, was it just Pearl that made EDG look close to our grand finals to Copenhagen? Not at all.
Diebol dah, tidur jadi malam dah.
Even if EDG have a comeback and are able to play the map similar to Pearl.
Kan gue udah bilang, PRX tuh nggak mungkin ada namanya saving, nggak ngerti saving.
With some of the best.
Tuh, lu lihat Jing. Tadi, nah lu lihat.
Dia bodoh nih bangsat nih
orang. Ini orang nggak dengerin anjing, bota-bota begini nih. Oleh ITE anjing.
No cloudburst in play. Can't cover his tracks.
Anjing nih 4 second.
Caught. Spike going down. All of the players from PRX on the other side of the map as well.
4 second lagi nggak banget nih Rin.
Haldong looking to pick people up.
Aggressive plays being made. The off angle though, what?
Oh,
I've got to be joking.
I mean, that is a really nice play. Just flooding players into Haldong there allows them to get rifles back. Whoa! Devi!
There's no way. There's no shot. You can't be whipping this one. Still collects the kill. Down to Mindfreak. Noise bait.
Has a Viper's Pit.
Yeah.
Kan tadi udah di pick.
Suspected he might be at the top there with a bit of a tap there. Now onto the spike, but this is going to be the late load straight through into mid. That's Chichu. Watching all the potential angles.
Bye-bye.
7 rounds now. Fair game. These guys are so in control right now.
Gimana nih, Bo? 1-7.
Ini kalau mau comeback pun 15-13, gue punya ini nih.
Gue 13-6 ini ya EDG ya.
Gue gampar dulu ya, gue ganti.
Kan gue nggak bilang siapa deh. 13.
Kayak botak, coba gue ganti.
Tengah-tengah diganti anjing.
Kayak lagi main sama sepupu gue.
It's not like they're giving PRX opportunities that are being capitalized on. Op. Out of play here as Kangang takes it up to
Gimana sama sepupu gue? Kesel.
And that is going to be the first kill found. What an impeccable one at that.
Aduh anjing lah.
No Viper utility to try and block off 410 or any sort of aggressive play that might come into way, and you can see there's pace once more being injected behind this one. Just trying to clear out Maze, but they don't expect that Jing could be up top here. Viper's Pit is dropped down though, so these angles are not going to be quite as clear. Jing wants to try and drop down into them anyway. Wants to take the fight, but somehow, some way, Haldong once more comes through.
That is a spectacular round
dia
again from
punya
Haldong. He's a master inside the Viper's Pit. He just can't be stopped.
How is he getting this much value?
Ayo, mana ada efeknya nggak?
All the traces are revealing his positioning.
Enggak di
But
dalam
it doesn't matter because every shot's a headshot for Haldong.
Enggak, panggungnya.
In terms of aim.
Yeah. He looks fantastic inside there.
Orang gila, tai. What the fuck?
Reaction time-nya Haldong gila sih.
Haldong is probably their weakest mechanical player.
Sure.
Gila.
Their weakest mechanical player is still better than maybe a third of the players in the
Makan
tournament.
daging
EDG's
anjingnya bang,
skill
goblok.
was never in question. This is a stacked roster coming out of China. And Haodong right now, 11-5. I mean, both Haodong and Chichu have found moments to put the team on their back. Haodong with his IGLing, with his performance, with his ults. Chichu with the clutches on map 1. It's been an all-round effort. And EDG are running away with things here.
Wah.
Another timeout here out of PRX.
15 dah.
Brent, what would this match have looked like with a full roster?
Life was playing.
What on earth? Obviously, never a question that, well, maybe we'll get the answer later in the tournament, actually. But for now, purely speculation. But this should be, in theory, a weakened version of EDG. Who knows how much time Smoggy's had to practice with them? Of course, listed as a sub and traveled with them to Istanbul, so they must have been somewhat prepared to run him. But this is spectacular. Just for context, EDG are putting the hurt on PRX more so than even FPX did in the finals on Ice. You know, this is a world-class performance coming out from EDG right now.
And those were the questions we had for this team. How are they going to be competing against the top dogs? Well, looking at that 8-1 scoreline, certainly feeling quite comfortable.
And they're actually playing quite controlled on these defaults too. EDG leaving not just Kankang to watch over towards A, but multiple players. Was that just to spam through the smoke there? I mean, Benkai deleted.
And still pressure applied, but Kankang, I mean, this guy just creates diamonds. You try and force the issue.
And he just goes for more, doesn't he? It's just relentless aggression. Willing to play confidently, take the risks, why not?
Padahal ini loh, ketahuan loh cara mainnya selalu 2B, 2A, 3B anjir. Selalu si Chamber sama Viper selalu di A nahan anjing. Udah ngeplan jadi flanker.
So willing to take these kind of fights. Obviously this is an anti-eco round, but we've seen it all match so far.
Yeah. Honestly, it's what I was thinking, out of all these teams as well, which team is going to be most well-equipped for dealing with the kind of fundamentals that Edward Gaming love to have on display? It would have been PRX in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, PRX, FPX, these kind of teams, but there's Divine getting the better end out of Kankang as he goes for the widest swing with his attack operator. Perhaps this is the round where EDG might be getting a little overconfident, but listen, I can't blame them. They're 9-1 up currently.
2-10 bisa sih ini 2-10 sih.
Back online anyway. Puts him back on the line.
Well, that's going to be a push down for a Tue. Forsaken is dealt with.
And there's never a hole in this default. At least not one that PRX can find. They exist on the map for sure, but it feels like EDG have a great read on where PRX's players are going to try and challenge.
Kena pick langsung rotat.
They're prodding and poking.
Bit of spam with the Vandal. Fearless man.
Yeah. And that's Haodong pinging out the position that Mind Freak is normally holding the smoke from. These players are learning
timingnya
so quickly on the global stage.
Contact plays, on contact plays. Wow. This time it's Devi's turn apparently to try and work his way.
Astaga, my god.
Just about brushing each other's backs, aren't they?
And the pit that's been used from Mind Freak getting nothing. Haodong finding the timing on
timing orang
everybody
Cina
through mid.
gila, coy.
But this is brought to a 3v2 where once again EDG have site control. And apart from a couple of rounds early on in the half, they've been able to manipulate these defenders so well to always being set up on the angles first.
Oh!
Intelligent from Mind Freak to be able to catch the one player out, but not quite. Edward Gaming not sleeping at the wheel, are they? The instantaneous trade, that is going to be the 10th round for them. Now we're getting into this last round of the half here, Josh.
I have not seen a half this dominant since map 1 of the grand finals, where the team that won Copenhagen destroyed PRX on Bind.
Yeah.
Anjing label PRX anjing.
PRX's comp is very, you know, unidimensional, one-dimensional on Bind in some senses. It has to push you. This map, they're running a normal comp.
Udah tadi PRX cuma kalah timing doang, cok. Bukan kalah aim.
Iya, kalah timing doang, sumpah. Gue banget. Dia kayak bisa baca. Timingnya di mana?
Iya, makanya. Kalah Emma, boro-boro lu lihat tadi di pro. Kalah timing ini.
Kalah timing. Timingnya aneh-aneh tadi.
Say nobody is one away from his ult.
Here. Really good to use that
Well, kill will do it.
Ada flank ketahuan.
Fuel back up. It's going to be the snake bite drop down and an updraft play all the way up close and personal. Taking position in the nest. Howard's pushing forwards. Jing should not really be favored there. The fight's still being taken, but a nightfall on top of it. That's going to be pushing the players back and giving a bit of space now for Jing.
Nice. Belum plan ya, masih bisa balik ya. Oh, Jing udah dapat.
For sake of being able to win the jet battle, has given his team a massive advantage. Are EDG going to go through a double push through the smoke? Just a single tap from Haldong, trying to trigger out some kind of response. But it's PRX with 2 rounds.
It's honestly dominant half. Dominant leadership from Edward Gaming. Get that last one under their belt. Absurd series of events. What are we going to be seeing here, Desk? Break us all down.
Kayak kita kalau lagi turni.
Thank you very much, Bren. And Sideshow, what are we seeing here, Kilios? What are we seeing?
It is the pure, unadulterated chaos and madness that I was talking about. This is just absolutely...
Gimana nih? Kok.
Something that doesn't really shock me. The draft. That's what shocks me.
Tanggapan.
I think that if you have Haven open, that is a map that you should wheel.
Nggak tahu.
Tapi emang timingnya sih ya, sumpah.
15 sih gua sih.
Timingnya aneh-aneh ya, sumpah dah.
Jago ya DG.
Enggak, tapi M enggak kalah, Cok.
Enggak kalah, Cok, emang.
M busuk, Cok.
Timing
busuk,
doang.
Maksudnya ya gue lebih busuk daripada DG. Maksudnya daripada PRX, cuma timing.
Viper dapat mulu timingnya anjing. Ngeflanknya. Jago aja. Masuk ke dalam smoke dia sendiri di mid. Tai banget dah. 10-2 aja.
Ini si Smogi ini yang nggak banyak cincong nih, suka nih gue nih.
Tapi
Beijing
berprestasi gitu.
Beijing.
Emang
tapi
bagus.
Yang banyak ngomong juga berprestasi. Yang banyak ngomong juga berprestasi gimana, Cok?
Davai si Ben kayak apa sih itu? Boneka ceweknya ya? Dari ceweknya ya?
Iya.
Bucin climax. Ini kalau bisa comeback ya, Gue streaming seminggu nonstop tai. Sumpah dah.
Masalahnya nggak pernah kejadian sih.
Makanya itu. Streaming seminggu full. Meledak PC gue yang.
I think that we are set up here for a fantastic map 3. Yeah. You know, as Achilles is saying on the desk, Haven is one of those maps that I would have also expected PRX to go for, and PRX have the advantage on. But who knows with this? I wasn't expecting Icebox to be this one-sided.
Yeah, honestly, would have said it on I think both the maps that we've seen so far, but. All that pressure, just through the choke point, that's going to force out the horns and the wall as well, portions of it. In fact, the killer already being found with Smoggy falling.
There goes Smoggy. The pistol ace sub that EDG have brought in.
Itu kan naik taruh ke atas dong, itu kan yang tempat bak omen itu kan.
Still trying to take it.
Bak apapun, jet omen.
Divide just about being able to pick it.
Nice. This is what you're going to see from Edward Gaming, is that they are not going to be afraid still to get straight into the action. Kills being found. Backwards, forwards, this way, that way. Wall dropped up. Looking away across now, all up to Chichu. Still being watched off, but players are low enough here that there is a possibility.
Udah tiga backside sumpah gue jadi mereka.
Eventually shuts it down, and so
tuh lu liat Jing nggak ada otak, nggak sopan sumpah.
For EDG,
Sumpah.
I think you need to be
Nggak sopan banget
crazy here, no force
kenapa sih?
fire or anything like that. You have such a massive lead. But now, if you want to talk about the comeback being a possibility here, I mean, take a look at this as well. Smoggy's last official match, July, as a member of Weibo Gaming. So he's not normally a player for this team.
Smoggy itu dari Weibo Gaming.
He's not somebody that's been in and out of EDG a long
Si paling
time.
tahu.
He's somebody that they've got in the last second of Istanbul and
Technical pause. Kok technical pause apa sih?
Paling mouse atau apalah.
If we're going to talk though about the potential for a comeback during this, I hope short technical points.
Listen, it had to happen at some point, Josh.
Sumpah ini.
Well, I'm glad it's here.
Kalian ngikutin yang berita yang polisi dibunuh nggak sih, yang ditembak? Serem banget aja.
Nggak tahu. Tapi lagi viral lagi. Udah ketemu gitu. Si Sambo kan jadi tersangka.
Iya, tadi siang ini mereka rekonstruksi
pokoknya reka ulang
adegan ya.
Good job. You didn't curse it. As soon as you said that, I was like, why did you? Why did you? But listen, we're getting back into it.
So these kind of rounds, a good opportunity to take a look at how EDG are defending. So it's a bit of a multi-purpose Viper wall over on B that Hardong is throwing down.
Playing fast and loose at the positioning though. Looks like they've already rotated a lot of the bodies over towards this one side. Can they try and take the fight? The answer is yes. That's going to be a trade. In fact, another one just underneath belt. Just underneath the rafters, I should say.
Anjing tuh anjing banget ya.
Still looking for a couple with the pistols.
The Jesus is
running and gunning, man.
A mind freak, he didn't have a weapon until just now.
It's the mind freak!
What a thrifty! And that has put the nail in the coffin, Brent. If there was any hope of a comeback,
next game.
It's gone.
GG next map.
I mean, just completely
Heaven ya?
Ini masih buy, mereka masih buy. Ada, gue jadi Alex. Bundir coba.
Never out of these kind of rounds.
I love this as well though, the play when they're on this eco round. Play fast.
Pakai klasik loh, tai.
Chuck the bodies towards the side that you think that they're leaning towards, you know? Trade it out, try and play for it.
And listen, a lot of teams do that. That's not specific to how EDG are playing. To me, it's the consistency of shots being hit that's absurd. And the fact they're keeping it up, winning the duels against one of the best teams we have in the world. There's Smoggy getting a bit too aggressive without support, however.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a showcase, honestly, of maybe the gap with Life not playing. Because Smoggy was out in the open there. There was no one covering that belt angle. Chichu does not play here. Well, the Horn spotted him, and the Seas on top of it. Latches him in position, and it's set up Forsaken beautifully. 2 kills to open it up now.
Uh-oh.
Inside that Viper's orb.
And that could have been an opportunity had Hardong found 2. Left the Kankang. Not going to happen. PRX have another lifeline with which to play. EDG, though, is still going to be able to buy up possibly into the next round. Not great credits by any measure, but
saving, right?
they could go for something mad with a force buy where Kankang's using his headhunter bullets and stuff, but I think always the better option to play safe when you have such a lead. The opportunities are going to present themselves. However, good utility usage coming out from Benkai there to clear the Jenny position. Excellent entry in from Forsaken. And I think if there's any hope for comeback, the attacking first duels are going to be what decides it. Forsaken, Jing need to be so sharp with their entries. And coming into this tournament, Brett, Kankang has been destroying first duels. This is absurd, but he's been winning 2/3 of his opening duels. No one else in the tournament comes even close. Most people are around 50%.
Sure.
Every half, Kankang averages a 3-to-1 KD in terms of first duels. And no one else is close in the tournament. But the advantage that PRX has is that they have Forsaken and Jing to try and take those back.
They're being supported well. So Benkai's utility as well
that sets him up for
supplemented the A push.
You don't have to just go for the raw aim duels, of course you don't.
Yeah, precisely.
But PRX are going to be asked to do almost the impossible here in recovering 7 rounds in a row on their attack side and making that timeline look like a joke by the end of it.
That's why things might get a little bit more difficult as well. Obviously, the time being taken for the next round. Gaming are going to be playing for this one. 2 hero rifles. And a heavy presence in mid, actually, watching this one. It's going to be that clash, I think, a bit of a battle taking place. Yes, indeed. Straight for a tube. That's Smoggy. He's rattling off the shots. He's going to be healed himself up as well. Collects another one for his troubles.
Yeah.
Already Kankang on the push, though.
Hey, oh my goodness. Coverage needs to be in play. You don't want to be using that weapon.
Sumpah nih orang ya bener-bener loh.
Yeah, good luck.
Hardong gila sih. Aduh, di
Headhunter bullets expended. What? I don't think Divide intended
to go for that one. Yeah, that's an unusual one. Still, going to be able to get space.
Gak expect dah kayaknya.
That A side, but they have handed over.
Nice one.
At least exchanged here and there.
Nice, nice info.
Taken out of the hands of him.
Nice one.
And it looks like a position where Jing should get punished, and he does Jing things again and cleans them both up.
Itu Cong, baru tuh.
Baru anjing.
Baru tuh, gak apa-apa tuh. Aduh.
Ya dia gitu, kalau menang duelnya ya bagus, kalau kalah anjing.
Iya sih, tapi
a lot more than Divine
kenapa
or
iya?
Forsaken on paper.
Gue penasaran sih kenapa over hit.
Divine and Forsaken together, Kang still uses the operator more than they do. Opting not for it in this
kalau
case,
dia kayak nahan gitu, nanti terusnya kayak jadi takut gitu.
Ini sial banget nih. 1B, 4A, wall di A, mainnya ke mid aja.
What face from EDG? Kanga takes the fight, nobody's trying to bail him out, but at least there is the swing. Forsaken's able to trade it, but you never expect the follow-up. Smoggy's still up top on belt, all the knives expended. Forsaken's just trying to get the hell out of it.
Bisa revive.
Udah, jangan overheat dulu.
Oke, dua maut nih. OP ya musuhnya?
Enggak ada.
Repositioning, that's a spike drop down.
That's a
Jingnya masuk.
But that also gives time for
Ada.
Chichu to start working his way
Oke.
forwards and deny
Forsaken nih bos. Forsaken nih bos. Expect dong satu plan dong.
Bos, gue jadi bos ke sini. Bos.
Dash.
He forces the favorable fight. He doesn't go down.
Nggak jelas anjing
Haudok jauh banget ya, kenapa ya?
Nggak tahu tadi. Banyak orang yang Haudok.
That defensive setup
Nembaknya bisa kayak gini ya.
definitely bodes taking a look at again. They had an
Dia tahu banget kayak PRX nge-push anjing.
Haudok jauh banget sumpah.
Smoggy is then able to swing out on belt off the back of everyone else's aggression. That is such a good defensive setup for A aggression that I haven't seen other teams using. EDG bringing fresh ideas to the table at their first time at a global event. And they're just looking masterful.
Dash to the side.
That's
the knives in play. Impeccable crosshair placement from Smoggy.
And absolutely
Astaga, sumpah.
running into him there at all.
Just anticipating the wide swing as well.
And that's
Tapi
the first
jujur sama
PaperX cannot afford it. They need 7 rounds in a row clean.
Main Cina di game kedua kayak nggak miss ya?
Gak ada missnya.
Oh! Breaks a portion. Brutal! But the spam is there. There is going to be coverage in
Astaga.
play.
Okay, nice.
Closer towards
Gak apa-apa.
double swing now.
Try for one ya?
Have to be clear with the fundamentals. Have to be clear
Swing
with
berdua.
the play. They
Nah,
are coming out at least. On top of that one short engagement. There's still a minute left. They could pump the brakes if they wanted to, but it looks like they're opting to just try and take the fight.
PRX nggak pernah
Right into
rotate
the
aja.
barrel of Kang. And he's pushing back up.
sumpah
Two players left standing. All of these liberties being taken. This could be it. The final blow. And it's just down to the singular player. Divine
kalau
cannot
positioning
stand
sama
up
timing
against
doang
it.
sih menurut gue ya.
Map number 3 is on the cards.
Gigi lanjut game 3 lah.
What a play, what a map. And the questions start to get answered. EDG are for real. No matter which way this third map goes, over on Haven. And the analyst desk was saying it leans towards PaperX, but it doesn't matter in my head which way it goes. A 13-5 victory on Icebox shows me that EDG have got it. They are able to bring it against the best teams in the tournament.
Yeah. Just that bit of nuance extra on top of the raw mechanical ability that they've been showing over and over and over again.
And we were talking about maybe the aggression from EDG being a bit reckless. That was the other way around. Yeah. They were the ones, it was EDG that were pumping the brakes. EDG that were manipulating defender rotations. And actually it was PaperX whose attack rounds looked a bit more one-dimensional. Always just leaning 5 players towards A. Never an ability to pivot once you got to the mid-round.
Looks as well. EDG were pulling out.
What a nice play.
I mean, nobody has just been an absolute star. This is a particular, Icebox, a map that he is...
Next game map apa sih?
Players are feeling it. The confidence is there. Momentum is on their side as we head into map number 3.
Next map apa guys?
Heaven.
And despite the fact that this is just an opening game in groups, the first game of Champions, it does feel like there's still stakes on the line.
Yeah,
high octane gameplay. We're going to go to a short break, and on the other side of things, of course, again, our analyst desk will break down all the action and set up that critical map number 3 in our opening match, so don't go anywhere.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings. Want them back. I just want them back.
Bapak-bapak guys.
Mana nih? Udah mulai lagi belum kan?
Belum.
Nanti dah lihat dulu dah, udah ngedown deh gue. Tadi
gimana? Kenapa bisa kalah PRX di map sendiri, Icebox?
7 kali cowok dibilangin timingnya. Gak, dia lagi suwe aja, lagi suwe.
Lagi suwe sih sumpah. Si Vipernya juga anjing banget timingnya. Ih,
itu Haudong catat tuh, Haudong tuh.
Haudong tai banget. Nggak, yang dia elbow dia tahu banget 4 second nge-push anjing.
Catat tuh si Haudong tuh.
Prefire tai banget. Oh kan jadi takut ya mau nembaknya juga ini. Tai dah. Tente.
I don't know where the orb is running to, but it's actually super fast. What? I literally don't have my... What? Oh, that's fine.
Apa, Pengki? Udah izin belum? Kan kata lu streamer kecil bodo amat, Pengki.
Well, no, I'm saying cringe in the aspect of like, damn, that's nerdy. It's not bad. It's actually fucking smart as shit.
Yang penting betul.
I was wondering. So someone joined the link. I didn't realize they could.
Don't care lah. Emang kalau misalnya sampai ketahuan itu sama si VCT-nya?
Di take down, bos.
Oh, di take down. Emang VCT punya kemampuan untuk men-take down. Smackdown.
Kan punya copyright kan. Itu copyright.
Oh. Aja tak. Ini lagi dilanjutin kok belum ya. Itu apaan? Ada Black Tiger Sex Machine, guys. Rian Perts. Iya, Sleepwalker. Oh, lagunya Black Tiger Sex Machine. Berapa banyak streamer watch party, Cok? Iya sih, banyak ya. Gak mungkin streamer kecil keliat ya. Bener juga, Pengki. Ini es krimnya terus nih, Rafa nih. Ikutan lah. Es krim di mana, Raf? Kok nggak ada? Iya bener. Sens, bener. Nggak bisa copy pun di HP. Coba kita cari di makanan kalian dia gambar. Es krim handal. Kepikiran itu guys. Maaf, salah pencet. Salah pencet asli.
You could do the same concept like oh, we're playing post plant B on a set. Okay, we have a KO, or you have a KO, you have a breach, any flash character.
Mana ada yang nge-distract kan?
Apa?
Ada gua. Ini dia lagi bahas map apa sih, Asen?
Nggak tahu kan.
Eta katanya 100 like tuh udah masuk home orang.
Oh iya, makanya naikin 100.
And then you'll
ibarat
get
udah kayak FVP
and the dart won't get broken.
Balik 100 like boy.
Unless someone gets like some insane blind shot on it.
Jadi istilah katanya teh
istilah kata
like home. Istilah kata.
You can do the same shit if you have like
ente kadang-kadang ente tuh kayak anjing tuh.
Ente kadang-kadang ente. Si Stephen tak sering banget ente kadang-kadang ente.
Si Arta juga ente kadang-kadang ente, bukan ente kadang-kadang ente, si Arta masih ente terus bro.
Ente terus. Anjing. Ya temen ya begini amat.
Aduh baru 86 weh. Baru 8.
Si anjing kerjaan RP terus anjing Dota mana? Dota bos.
Ibot masih gondrong karakternya. Tapi gondrongnya beda ya sekarang.
Ibotnya udah potong rambut, Cok.
Iya, Mak. In game ya karakternya.
Ih ngeri pada main RP.
Kan udah nonton ya, bukan main.
Ente kadang-kadang ente kayak anjing.
Erik gimana Erik?
Defend dulu.
Tatar nge-defend dulu.
Sama gue juga defend dulu bentar nak.
Rick. Jadi gimana Rick? Udah ada belum Rick?
Apa ya?
Cewek.
Kenapa? Oh itu 20.000 harganya.
Apa tak?
Cewek udah ada belum?
Cewek apa anjing?
Pacar.
Kan si Erik gay. Lu tuh gak ngerti-ngerti deh.
Angker balik anjing.
Fun.
Hai.
Kan tadi gua ketemu yang di tangan kan.
Bagi dong.
Nggak gini terus tanyain, kamu kenapa nggak di Prasmu? Erik Sultan banget, Cok. Sumpah.
Apa kenapa? Ulang.
Katanya kan ada yang di Tangerang kan. Kenapa nggak kuliah di Prasmu? Terus PH gitu kenalan. Berarti Erik Sultan banget ya, Van?
Wah, itu
mantap. They saw that. Wait, no, they saw 4. I think they saw 4. And so naturally, when the 3 people were taking
bilang ke bokap,
you know
dikasih
that there's 4 flanking.
Dikasih MacBook,
just to like
MacBook Pro plus.
You have number advantage. Just take round, get into positions there. If they try to go back to middle, or they
apa Erik dibeli MacBook Pro?
MacBook Pro.
But they ran through. There was unfortunately a chamber op right here that got a kill. That's something you can do, like
kelas pakai
jet, numbers and where they are, because if you have numbers advantage, you really just like run at the one and get crazy. Like it's like chess.
Lakunya karena ini anjing, karena nonton bokep VPN.
Iya. Ini si Rusman lihat dari 10.200, 10.100, 9.400 sekarang.
Gas.
Yang mana?
Smogi for second jet.
Gas.
Jing Reina, Cok.
Reina.
Iya.
Giving up that phase race combo, but you do have the aggression and just kind of the individual performance you give to Jing on that role. The sky there as well. No Sova.
It's 2 Reinas I'm seeing, right? It's also Reina on the side of EDG. Like
Reina nggak tuh?
Or am I blind?
No, it's just the fade.
Oh, I thought it was Reina.
I got debated by it last time.
It baited me.
It happens to all of us. But no, so this is basically the same exact composition that we saw from EDG when they just played against Onslayers in the grand final. They were able to take that. And again, this is their weakest map historically.
Yeah.
That one, I believe they got pushed 13-11 or so, maybe 13-10 in that scoreline. They're sticking with the same composition. This leads me to believe that they have to have some different strategies prepared coming in.
Yeah, it really did look rough then when they were playing that domestically. I think the improvement will come through. But what is PRX going to show us with this Reina composition? You lose out on so much utility. versatility, so much synergy when you're playing the other comps that are so much more prevalent on Haven, but you get the PRX special, you get the whimsy, you get the fun when you're playing a comp like this. It's impossible to prepare for Arena Jet Sky comp on Haven. You just don't see that. So EDG, again, the pressure will be on to be making those changes, being ready for this comp on the fly.
Well, EDG, they made Jing angry, it seems. Saisho and Bram, we have Arena going to the final map of this series.
Absolute scenes that we're seeing heading into map number 3. Pure ego play, I think, picking the Reina into this one. An old comp for PRX, but I think it tells a clear path, honestly. We are better than you. We want to take fights against you.
Ayo guys, prediksi.
What, has that been the course of this?
It's been missing, honestly. I think EDG
Berapa
wants to PRX over the course, at least of the second map on Icebox, but now we're heading into Haven.
It's ludicrous.
13-5
The way they play this Reina is quite interesting. I mean, often just expecting any sort of utility that's played in a lobby control. Definitely. You see it used a while
We don't know.
PRX, but they
berapa dong?
It is. They played it in the group stage.
Jangan kayak anak bocah lu.
And they got
Lu apa Koderal?
They got wins over the guard, but they were close.
Bapak Koderal.
Then they got destroyed.
Lu tadi berapa? 13 berapa, Cok?
8.
And EDG have actually been
13
playing fairly
10 deh,
slowly,
13 10
10 8 sama 5
in
gua.
this
Oke.
match so far.
Kayak gini anjing ya.
Can they figure out how to play
Season 1
against this?
Lena season 1 nih.
Close hold to the corner. It's a half clear. What?
Nih. Ini Chong Ming Chow fuck up nih.
Right to safety. Trademark's going to be destroyed, but he's still watching down a flank. In fact, look at this.
Okay,
Tries to try and supplement it, contact play off of it. He hears the footsteps running around. Massive amount of damage, and the work has already been put into this one, but the spike dropped down.
And EDG are playing the postmans all from long.
Gila sih, tapi bantai-bantai banget EDG di ini.
I wasn't too much of a fan about it. Player advantage here, it should be enough.
They're trying to spam this one with pistols, man. It's already
be
smoked
enough.
up. Half on it. They're shaking it all the way. A big guy. That's one way to get a Red Bull clutch.
Weh?
I think
What the?
Ninja Diffuse is real.
that you're hoping for
Itu salah sih, itu salah.
Salah. EDG mainnya aneh banget,
Si Benka sering banget aja dipisahin situ berapa kali anjing. Sering banget Dia kayak tahu posisi yang nggak mungkin di spam orang anjing.
Ini ngumpet di pojok tai.
Cuma ya jujur nggak expect juga sih kalau ditaruh trap.
The desk was saying maybe it's something different. Maybe they have new strats cooked up.
Wah, lama.
That's another good start.
Okay, just running it straight down. Not to be rewarded with this one. Forsaken Cloudburst has to dash into it, has to escape. Onslaught disappearing right now onto the A side. No one has slid long with Divide. Just been sitting in long.
Mereka nggak tahu Davai.
And he is that extra element that they needed to
Nice Davai.
supplement to try and stop that push happening.
Beresin masalah dua bocah ini anjing.
Let's go.
Quite a fast map.
Nice. Abang-abangan terakhir 3 disiplin. Abang-abangan.
Ini dua bocah tolol anjing.
Abang-abangan disiplin, abang-abangan.
Sebelum si Forsakennya masih kasih lagi anjing udah keluar.
Tapi jujur mereka berdua emang suka begitu sih, emang rada keselin sih.
1-4 record when facing the closing map in a series internationally.
2-1 ya game pertama ya.
Destroy people most of the time.
Besok game siapa sih? Grup siapa besok?
To get into these scenarios or get forced into these scenarios often. I would still consider them favored here.
Boom ya, boom.
Enggak belum guys.
But who knows? This series has made a believer out of me when it comes to Edward and his gaming.
Tapi sejujurnya gue nggak suka sih, apa kayak Omen langsung TP gitu.
Useless anjing.
Ya makanya gue nggak pernah pakai.
Buat apa tai? Lu tinggal smoke jet, tinggal jalannya udah.
Enggak, kalau lu mau misalnya itu kan TV yang ke jauh. Kadang orang tuh TV yang ke kabi situ, tau nggak maksud gua?
Iya,
tahu.
Itu buat either lu naruh dia di situ atau enggak lu bisa double swing dari kiri kanan.
Ya, ngerti gua kalau di situ. Masalahnya wah, pedes ini orang. Masalahnya 2 kali dia TV ke.
He's so aware and he's found Jing. Kang is such a good player. He's just got the read on where people are going to challenge him.
Here comes the push attempt though.
Rapi banget dah,
So much on the
flankernya.
line here for Benkai to try and do some work, but there's a paranoia in his face, an aftershock at that. He wants to try and weave and play
Flash from heaven.
inside of this one. Flash through's got another players are down and out, surely. It's going to be dealt with. Another device up there, but timing is everything. A quick maneuver around the smoke, but that's an instantaneous trade.
Wah, ini orang licik banget.
Aduh, dapat satu doang.
Main
freak, ini main freak, bos.
Main freak, 1v4, main freak.
Dapat vandal kan?
Oh, saving.
Pulling out though, I think it was a 1v5 on Pearl, but this is just not one that you go for with the spike already down.
Yeah, percentage play just to save it up, but...
And what an interesting dynamic this is, because EDG are playing a composition that PRX are pretty familiar with. Of course, they don't run the jet, they run the raise, but the rest of the comp with the breach, with the fade, they're familiar with how this kind of setup works. Despite the fact that PRX run a slightly different version of it. And the question is how they deal with these kind of threats. And in this round, the big threat was Kangkang's lurk coming through mid. And you saw him take a
Cuma nggak mungkin MOBA style nggak sih? Kan itu si Sens bilang it could be like a MOBA style in the future kan. Cuma kalau MOBA style kayak Dota gitu-gitu kan ada ban gitu-gitu. Kalau ini kan kita nggak tahu musuhnya, tahu sih musuhnya nggak pegang apa. Cuma masa ada ini dulu ada pick lobby ya.
In their practice, I think has taught them a lot of lessons, and now
Jadi 10 hero mainnya pasti beda.
Very dangerous individual.
Pelan-pelan, kan mungkin 2 tahun lagi.
Coba kalau misalnya Jet, counter Jet apa kau tanya? Apa? KO.
KO and that's an aftershock. Jing trying to make the moves again. Did he expect this third play at the back of the side? The answer is yes.
Perfect. Just really nicely done from EDG. Idvalo completely caught. With utility in his hands, Benkai simply going to run away.
Yeah, you're not getting away.
And getting chased down.
That's what I mean. Not going to be letting them get away with a rifle. And even with Benkai should be favoured there. Not quite. Prime gaming flawless.
EDG running some of the similar executes, but it's not necessarily the execute and the utility usage that's so good on these site hits. To me, it's the way that they... I mean, that is great utility to clear out that angle. But I think it's the way that they all push up together. How tight they are to each other when they get gaps on their execute. They all support each other. That means even if Smoggy isn't getting a 3K, even if Smoggy isn't 8-1
Smoggy dia punya
they are still getting the trades.
muscle memory gila.
PRX are going to get challenged here unless they can get Jing in a position to duel frequently and use his dismiss. He's getting no value from the Reyna.
The same opening setup time and time again, and look at it, the aftershock. Second round in a row, Forsaken tries to evacuate, but Dash are just catching him again, over and over again.
Kali anjing, 2 kali dah kena kayak
gitu. Rounds, PRX have been made to look silly. Of course, this time not with any guns in their hand.
Rolling.
I think part of it too is that EDG have been able to avoid Benkai's
kamera Benkai. Oh.
I don't think that is a deliberate, conscious effort. It doesn't feel like EDG are poking at the beginning of the round to get information on where the Cypher's playing. They've just happened to go to the right areas of the map.
They're going for the same A lobby play.
Yeah, A lobby or a CX.
Chichu goes for the teleport, and they just try and fight over, short and long, but
yeah,
it's nothing really that's being changed up. Like you said, no poking for the setups.
It's just default.
Soalnya nembaknya aja kompak anjing.
And that's what it comes down to. I think when you're up
Satu nembak kanan, satu nembak kirinya.
It's pure ego. It's a decision being made by PRX, I think, to say that we will be winning.
Sumpah mereka dilatih di kuil. Lu lihat bridge-nya di posisi gua tuh. Lu lihat bridge.
The last time that we watched PRX play with this Jet Reyna comp, they're trying to avoid utility and still set up Forsaken and Jing to take fights. The idea being, even with a Prowler, as Reyna or Jet, take that fight and then dash away and not get punished. At least that's the theory. But so far, Forsaken and Jing haven't been in position to take fights when the execute comes in. And when they do take fights, they're dying anyway to Smoggy and Kangkang.
Sumpah.
Jing's had a bit of a brutal one of it in the
last
two
ini belum ada fail loh. Enggak, gua nggak pernah lihat kayak big whiff di EDG.
No gaps.
Oh, what is that?
Smoggy is on a tear.
That was through the aim punch.
The guy is 10-1.
Tuh. Pedes banget ya.
A couple of his kills coming through, obviously, when PRX are ecoing, but
Jing sama Forsaken kayak udah nggak ada artinya anjing bagi DG. Udah nggak ada artinya anjing. Ditungguin dong masih chamber.
Using the Trailblazer to set up on A short. And this is the first time that EDG have gone
percaya.
That is so risky.
It really is from both players actually jumping onto the line.
Nice. Satu.
Benka's got a difficult task ahead of him. That paranoia pushes him back. Couple of straight bullets. Now the Cam spots the position. He knows the amount of players that are going to be lurking and making their way now onto C site. Can the players lock it down? Spam onto the angle, a wider swing, Jing. That's going to be 2. Returns it back. The timing is everything. The Seekers, they give them exactly what they needed.
Nice
Know that the last 2 players of Edward Gaming are going to be now sitting on the C side.
Kiri kanan.
Howdong with his ultimate here. If they can give the spike,
Forsaken nge-flag nggak? Pakai op ya?
Tapi default
the
omennya.
spike now onto the Omen, who fakes the plant and can ult over to A. Chichu though, he ends up going down. Forsaken with the operator flank. Not quite expected.
Nice.
Jangan masuk, dapat.
A courageous clutch attempt.
Oke, untung dapat. Coba Jing udah masuk deh.
Lebih mukil deh.
Iya. Low kan, dia tahu dia low kan.
Low, maju.
Maju anjing masih.
Abang-abangan selalu lebih respect tuh abang-abangan.
Really nice gunplay, but
Nggak tahu
actually
diri
not making use
anjing
of
kan.
Reyna. I mean, it wasn't like he's using the dismisses to dodge through utility and take fights he couldn't otherwise. Sure, it might give him some confidence to take those kind of duels, but that's a pretty standard anchoring position, no matter what agent he's playing. EDG with a couple of ultimates to play around with here. And Kankang pushed away from mid. That's information gained that there was a mid push, and they go into the C exec. This time, Benkai is ready and waiting. Does it make a difference?
Yuk, kena nih jatuh nih. Kita kena trap nih.
Teleport to the back of the side. Benkai, his information is revealed right into the trap wire. You revealed.
Satu backside attack dong.
Lockdown, Mindfreak swinging through, 3 kills.
Nice.
And now 2 left standing.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
The close call. Gonna be the dash enabled and the blade still running forwards and a quick little jiggle of the movement.
Taruh Jing.
Even in this miss on top of it, dashing right into the face of their adversaries. Another one to pile up on top when it comes to the rounds.
There's the value that you're getting out of Benkai's setups.
Benkai anjing spoiler nih bang.
Kan gue cuma bodoh nggak tahu kan apa. Dulu pada kepo juga. Apa nih gitu.
Kalau musuhnya
kan nggak tahu apa. Gua doang.
itu bisanya 2 ngeras dari long terus mati.
Bisa wow juga kan? Tahu.
Enggak pasti kayak aduh
Nggak, gue kalau anjing kan gue diem tadi.
Finding those setups from Benkai instead of just gambling for sight execute. You need to know that there isn't a cipher waiting there.
There hasn't been that early poking, I think, to try and spot out where those setups are. At any point, it's been mostly just full frontal aggression off the rip.
And I think those info plays are actually quite difficult to do. Maybe more
Coba ya, itu coach dia S3 tadi.
You're being pressured consistently by Forsaken and Jing in the early round, right? They're hunting for
Coachnya profesor ya sih?
Forsaken Jing are trying to take fights aggressively in mid, and that funnels a reactive play from EDG into the C site. So I think EDG a bit more patient is going to be helpful for them. If you play fast, you're playing at
Gila, Cos Mogi kill 11 anjing. Tolol ya.
And I think Kankang is your player to lean on there.
Smogi pistolnya kuat sih Smogi.
Getting set up on angles where you think Forsaken and Jing are going to take fights, all you need is a teammate to break you know, a Leah that's going to come your way. It's not a utility-dense composition that PRX are using.
Entire kitchen sink just being dumped into short there. Prowler is destroyed though, and that's what we were talking about earlier. Making sure that somebody's there to
He knows.
get rid of the utility.
He knows.
Tadi aftershock kayak bridge buat apa ya?
Ngedelay itulah yang bakal ngepick.
Ngedelay push.
Iya.
Oh.
Untuk buat ke shot.
Strange off angle, and Devi is able to still get information.
Tahu dia Forsaken main bandel tuh.
Using a flash to realize that there's somebody in grass.
He knows.
Prowler.
Aduh sabar dah.
They know this one. Seas is actually latched onto. Forsaken on top of it. Haunt into the corner. No way. Make sure he's actually repushing right into the angle. How do you get away with it? How? That should never work. And Forsaken goes for it, goes 1 for 1.
Orang binatang sih, orang binatang anjing sumpah nih.
Monster.
Idiot anjing.
Asli anjing.
Sebel banget gua.
Enggak masalahin.
Iya,
dapat orang, tapi dia nggak bisa di trade.
Iya.
Spam. Oh,
tapi untung, ya untung dapat satu sih. Kalau nggak dapat marah.
Because these players in mid are not going to be able to hold off the retake on their own. His reflank is everything. Cosmic Divide is going to be splitting up. Of course, there's going to be aggression there, but genuinely matches it. Pound for pound. The whiffage now. The knives come out into play. Information going to be revealed, but the knife still once more one after another down to the 1v1. A right click, not enough. No knives really finding their mark. And a tap on a spike. Mind Freak, cool, calm, and collected. Deals that final blow necessary.
Lu jangan react lu ya.
What a play by Mind Freak. I think he's 18
and 5
gitu doang.
Nggak tahu kan?
I mean, unless I missed one earlier on in the game.
5-3 nih, bos.
This guy has just been phenomenal recently in the clutch.
Terus si Smoky nge-whiff anjing.
Ayo nyerang nih ya, mereka cuma punya Sky kan. Ini si Jemel kan pasti OP terus. Counternya gimana tuh, counter OP-nya dia tuh.
Gak ada sofa ya?
And both teams currently have 3 gun rounds to their name, right? But PRX still have that advantage of winning the pistol at the beginning. Aside from that though, it has been so dead even. And I like the approach from EDG. After taking their time out, slowing the pace down a little bit. I think that round could have definitely worked.
That's probably why you're seeing the PRX time might be taken here. Even if they came on top of that last round. Just be talking about what they can potentially do, because that was a complete switch up in terms of the pace that was being taken. Yeah, their attack side rounds. Possibly maybe trying to anticipate now how Dong's ult's going to be used, because he's been hanging on to this Rolling Thunder for God knows how long.
And that's what I'm not quite understanding. How Dong should have opportunities to use the Rolling Thunder and push PRX into retake. PRX play retakes the least out of everybody at Champions. Only less than half the time PRX are playing retakes. They're always trying to fight you before you get to the site. So even if you just use the ult to secure the spike plant, that's value. This Jet Rainer comp is rubbish at retakes. I mean, it's just got no utility to retake on you. So why not try and get value out of the breach hold? What are you holding it for? A post plant setup maybe? Or maybe just trying to force PRX to play around it? But honestly, that's only going to make Forsaken and Jing more aggressive. Here comes the Nightfall.
Yeah. A lot being dumped into this one now, even the updraft over the top. That's going to be the trap wire though. That reveals the positioning of Kang Kang. The counter spam is there, but again, Benkai setups are just far too clean.
No way.
Far too clean. Everyone revealed to him.
And with Kang down, Jing now gets the flank off. The trademark disabled. Jing is so deep into A.
Dia tahu Fat ulti nggak main side anjing, PRX.
Kamera belum nyalain, lu lihat tuh.
Gua baru mau bilang tadi kamera masih ada.
Wah anjing.
That is the prime game of Flawless at the end of the day, and you're starting to see it. The momentum, the pistol round built into this.
Anjing bisa gitu, Cok. The fuck?
Let's keep rolling on, baby. Let's keep rolling on. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
They still stop the plant from going down because PRX plays so
udah, asalkan disiplinnya, disiplin. Kayak mereka dipercaya Benkai pakai ini deh.
It's gorgeous stuff from PRX.
Jenahan ya.
Menurut gua DG kayaknya rada nggak expect deh Benkai pakai Cypher. Soalnya dia nggak latihan buat Cypher gitu. Nggak ditembaki shot trapnya. Maksud gua kalau udah kena malah loncat. Udah.
Satu lagi ada apa ini orang. Udah keples gitu nggak ada orang yang langsung cabut lah. Lu bising pasti kalau
Still going to be able to pick up another.
Ngamuk sih.
Nice banget.
Still going for these pushes, man. This is what you got to be careful of.
Ya emang dia cocok agro tapi pakai Reyna gitu.
Ngentot lah, baru lu ngomong. Tipus lagi buat apa anjing itu? Ini lagi satu. Bocil.
Abang-abangan lah anjay. Mulut baru kebuka tuh.
Yeah, I mean, he's avoided this horde though, and nobody is looking towards him. Amazing time on
Abang Astra, carry aku Abang Astra.
Abang-abangan nih. Abang-abangan nih.
Even time for a bit of a
Aduh
spray
anjing, jebek lagi.
In and out of the shots.
Astaga, lu lihat tai. OP-nya nggak ada yang kena nih.
Should not have been close.
No, it shouldn't at all.
And PRX have made enough mistakes.
Ada itu nggak dia?
And Kankang's hit enough
Ada
nice
case nggak?
shots.
Nggak ada udah
It comes down to a
habis.
1v1. Benkai looking at garage.
Dia nggak expect nih, dia expectnya.
Knows the position, okay.
Sebenarnya kalau gue jadi Benkai,
disrespect bro.
nice banget. Ayo dong, diapain kek?
Oh no,
nice. Diliatin Benkai. Sama Benkai diliatin sama Benkai.
Disrespect anjing.
Benkai.
Emang anak-anak Cina mesti digituin anjing. Bangsatnya anak Cina.
Biar mentalnya kena ya.
Iya anjing.
Zoom cek. Sumpah diliatin.
Mentality breakdance katanya mah.
Diliatin Cok. Mantap banget nih. Tapi aimnya dia gila sih.
Ini sih 4 second miss mulu anjing.
Iya anjing. Oke.
Lu lihat muka Benkai. Ya aduh.
Struggling a little bit to take the duels against Smoggy and Kankang, but the rest of his team doing a decent job.
Doesn't get dodged. There's no kill to be found. That does not give Jing the escape mechanism that he was looking for.
Bisa-bisanya ada line up begitu, Tai.
From Haldong and nobody.
Nembak ada yang kena.
Using that. It's such a great combination.
Aduh, si Jason lagi bau.
And both
Bapak dah semangat dah.
PRX of getting aggressive, shut down by EDG. What a pick by nobody!
Eventually though, shut that guy down. So the trade is there for
Semangat
Forsaken,
dah.
but the setup is
Astaga 4 second.
Udah. Pakai Phantom aja dah.
Iya anjing.
Pakai Phantom aja dah.
just ever so slightly it is there, and he just sees an
Nah,
elbow.
bener kan komennya kan?
Forsaken was missing a lot of those
Respect.
shots.
Oh, nggak direspek sama mereka.
Bisa main. One bullet in the operator.
Dua Indo nih.
Paranoia up top. Maybe they heard him. Up into heaven there. Even the aftershock. Okay.
Oh, direspek.
Safe for the time being. They know that the time pressure right now is on PRX to make the moves. You can see them jumping forward. Smoggy deals with it handedly.
And if you were following along with our little mini game, when is Haldong going to use Rolling Thunder?
Smoggy apa sih?
No comment gua, Smoggy anjing.
The 2v3 clutch that may have been coming through.
Segitu, kill 17 anjing.
Smoggy itu substitute.
Iya.
Smoggy itu substitute.
Harusnya dia jadi roster anjing.
Maka boleh yang
nggak tahu yang intinya siapa.
Yang intinya Leaf namanya, dia duelis juga. Dia duelis juga.
Wah itu sih berarti si Leaf.
Masa main dah mendingan ya.
Smoggy aja udah begitu.
Yang Leaf lebih jago lagi.
Udah Leaf mending Leaf aja dah.
Good adaptations. Angle being watched, but again, it's another approach over towards C, another heavy execute into it, a bit of spam into the smoke. Hold again, a little bit of shorting. Expecting maybe a player to step within his field of vision. But no, pure discipline in play, but now they have to deal with Jing. This guy looking like a final boss. AC-130 from above, Forsaken was there with the knives and updrafting, but they do deal with him in the end. And that's that 5th round for Edward Gaming.
That's the one that saves the half, that makes it look doable. EDG should have been at a disadvantage in this map. All the analysts were saying
Davai konyol anjing, sumpah.
PRXs, and I think Edward Gaming, despite the fact they didn't get out to a hot lead like they did on the prior two, have done enough here to still make things even heading into the second.
Nggak, itu soalnya udah di prowlerin.
Tetap sih, itu reactionnya orang-orang Cina ini gila sih.
Forsaken, come on Forsaken.
Thank you very much, Bren.
Ayolah.
I could watch these two teams play all day.
Ayo nih Jing, Forsaken Davai, Trisula Tritunggal Maha Kudus.
Yeah, I mean, so far, it's looking pretty good for them right now. They have a little lead. Things got off to a really rocky start for EDG, and then they started to find a little bit of stability. But you can see how close those rounds were. I mean, from the outset, they were able to get a spike plant down, and Benkai just cheekily sits there and diffuses it.
Yeah,
while covered by some smokes. They just couldn't quite get him with those pistols at range, and from there, that was a really rocky start, but they were able to drag this back. This was looking like it was going to be a much more one-sided affair going into it.
Yeah, let's talk about Mindfreak. Brennan and Saisha mentioned in their cast that Mindfreak really made his name at Copenhagen. He was having a great tournament, and that's been continuing here so far as well, Kilios.
Yeah, he's just been incredible. When you get him down to like a clutch scenario, you can very much rely on him. His decision-making moment over moment is fantastic, which is something that you really need when you have somebody who's playing like an Astra.
Yeah, and I think his style of play has had to be very particular based off the composition that was brought out. Like the casters were mentioning, for PRX, their retakes are really, really difficult with this composition. You're kind of losing out on that big initiator retake potential, so you have to be fighting on site. They have that delay factor with the smokes and with Benkai, but Mindfreak really often was having to be that first point of rotation to aid in holding things down. But as we look ahead to that second half of play, I'm expecting another changeup. Normally Forsaken plays the chamber. He's lurking. He's playing slower on this map. I think that'll have to be Benkai, and we get just crazy double entry duo with that Jet and that Rain. We'll have to see how EDG can stop it.
I can't wait to see it, Mimi. I'm going to throw this back so we can get back into game with Sideshow and Brent.
Beautiful setup here, heading into the second half now, our final map of our opening game of Champions. What a way to really set things off, isn't it?
And I think it's a great reminder from Achilles that the pistol round probably shouldn't have gone the way of PRX.
Sure.
We might easily be looking at a 7-5 half here in the opposite direction. And so this pistol means so much to both teams. I think the defense with this Fade breach comp is nasty. More so when you have the Raze on board. But even so, it's going to be a tough nut for PRX to crack.
This fault line has been held for Lord knows how long. That was the timing he was waiting for. Not quite sure what it was, but already pressure being applied now. The players just swarming out onto the site, and PRX not going to be leaving any gaps in their approach.
Itu flash Renanya. Pas Rena tuh gitu tuh, orang lagi nyerang suruh hitam. Enggak, nyebelnya mesti hancurin gitu loh.
Iya, makanya.
Kalau dia baru mau masuk itu gampang, tapi kalau udah lagi tengah-tengah perang itu nyebelin.
Lu lihat.
Clean fun these though.
Orang binatang.
Players ready and waiting to trade each other out.
Nice trade. Let's go, boys.
You've got this bizarre thing occurring where PRX win the round despite the fact that EDG are able to get the opening pick. Brent, in the first two maps, it's absurd. EDG are up 8 first kills compared to PRX. They're +8 in terms of the first duels compared to PRX in a one-on-one series. I mean, part of that is going to be because of how one-sided Icebox was, but it really feels like EDG are controlling the early round pretty well.
When taunting beaten by a smile.
Allowing them actually to still recover these 4v5s.
Class.
And that's something that PRX have been very good at. They might be running into a stack here though. This could start to get dangerous.
Emang meta Asia nih.
That's going to be a stun. Is there going to be anything off the back of
Emang
it?
meta Asia nih.
The players are locked up right now, but it's still just brute forcing their way through.
aja, gampang.
Jing, the absolute spearhead for his team there. Fearless.
Jing. Ah, itu dia.
Udah
maju, udah Jing, maju.
And these kind of maps are so difficult.
Udah Jing.
When you lose both of the pistol
Maju
rounds,
dong.
the first one in such heartbreaking
Udah kena tag kamera dia.
You just 4 of those rounds
Udah dicopot.
disappear. And despite nobody's best efforts, he is going to get run down by a very hot Jing right
Dia
now.
right click aja.
Jing's had a slow start to the series, but 17 and 11 happening right now. Smokey got off to a blinder on this map and has cooled off
Free gun
himself.
is broken, bro.
I'm telling you, it comes down to that Raider pick now. Comfort rolls for Jing.
Yeah.
Going for that pound-for-pound aggression, just trying to take the fight straight to them.
Yeah. And look at how Jing is just moving forwards, utilizing all the space that Forsaken makes for him too. Jing and Forsaken work as such a duo.
Jing ngamuk di sini, Bung.
It's crazy.
Jing kayak main rank ya.
Iya asli. Usai.
Jing kayak Pengki ya.
Tai.
Udah bola.
Layers upon layers for their strategies, I think, to get back into this one. And they do have good weaponry with the rifles in their back pocket. But it's a contact play from PRX. Bit of disrespect being shown to the utility early on.
Gue suka nih Benkai mainnya nih.
Being given so much space. Flash, cloudburst off to the side, even the Lear as well, making sure every angle
Ready? Tuh, wah, enggak.
Kan
bener kan.
Timingnya
bener guys.
And they've saved,
Oh, lagi di sana ya.
2 flashes, fault line. Still a lot of utility to be.
Udah, yang penting pasang deh, yang penting.
Pasang urusan kritik nggak kritik kan nanti ya.
Ini orang padahal ada 2 trap loh si Benkai loh. Dia punya 2 trap di belakang anjing.
Nobody secures two, but nobody has dealt with Jing. Eventually, he will go down now.
Nah,
2v2. Smoke. Just goes for a slight sight line. Timing is so good, and a flick of the wrist from Mind Freak. Only the Spectre left down to it. The pressure, the time, it's on the shoulders of Chichu. He needs to try and get onto this spike to get that defuse online.
He's just got to smoke back. That could be the answer.
There's no time cues though. There's no time at all to work with. In fact, Obsta just saved the rifle. He knows that there's nothing to play for now, and Benkai's done his job.
Ada waktu.
He knows. When you get to that spot and you realize you've got to
15 nih, Dek. Apakah akan bertahan 5 terus?
You feel like you're condemning your team.
Nice one,
Itu si Jing mau buat bukan bisa dismiss dulu
Tough
tahu dia.
Mukil tai.
Kan udah kenal kan?
Udah kenal kan? Namanya baru gue pukul.
Mukil bet anjing.
Mamanya kemarin.
Kan udah kenal.
Bisa dismiss loh tadi. Masa time out deh. Kena mental deh, time out deh. Aduh deh.
Ini walaupun kalian yang bilang kita Cina, kita bela Indonesia, cowok. Bego.
Smoggy's been so good so far in this match. I sometimes find myself just forgetting that he's not baked into the team. That he isn't.
Keren sih stage-nya sih, jujur aja.
Itu besok-besok Cina nggak usah kasih main, serem juga anjing.
Ngeri aja bikin deg-deg seret aja.
Serem.
Itu ada Cina benar.
Udah suruh ngurusin ekonomi negaranya aja.
Jadi serem gini.
This isn't EDG playing at 100%, and they also said in interviews prior.
Tahun depan kan ini.
Karena franchise kan.
Franchise Cina masuk di Asia, Cuk.
Cina pasti masuk.
Maksudnya franchise?
Menurut gua T1 dah yang masuk. Franchise itu kayak Mobile Legends, tau gak sih lu? Jadi kayak udah liganya itu doang yang main. Jadi misalnya ada 10 tim, ya udah 10 tim aja.
Enggak, lu udah baca belum?
Tahu gua yang bisa tambah terus kan setiap tahun.
Jadi itu jadi kayak lebih tepatnya sih kalau gua itu jadi kayak yang udah 10 ini dia anggapan ada 4 step. Yang 10 ini tuh udah fix masuk ke step ketiga.
Ada. Wah, anjay.
Everything that they've got. Spray down, a bit of a stare down. Popping knives, why not? Sure. Is there. Even a trailblazer, they want to set him up to succeed. It's all about it, isn't it?
Kebiasaan main
Jing stole the ace.
Heal dulu dong.
Oh, Forsaken can't believe it.
Distraught.
That is
distraught.
I mean, listen, Brandon.
Dia sampai ulti loh.
If it was Coach Alex right now, I might not be too happy that Forsaken's just using knives.
Itu lu lihat Forsaken diam aja.
It could be the first ace of the champion.
I didn't even realize that happened.
But if you're watching that kind of replay,
Itu kok dia nggak reload.
Sama Spike.
Ya, marah dia ini.
Jing, what the hell, man? Absolute ragged moment. Oh boy.
I think that shows you some of the confidence the PRX are feeling right now. They're not under anywhere near the same amount of pressure as they were on the prior 2 maps.
Nggak, franchise itu jadi ini, nanti dia tinggal di satu negara juga, Cong.
Not a very good jiggle peek by Forsaken.
Iya, jadi misalkan host country-nya udah dipilih di Korea. Ya udah tinggal di Korea. Semua 10 tim. Jadi soalnya kompetisinya LAN.
Tapi setahu gue tuh yang gue baca tuh kayak
udah pasti.
Bakal ada challenger juga, bakal ada apa gitu.
Iya. Sama.
Cuma yang ini udah lewat duluan aja, nggak usah lewat gitu-gituan.
Iya. Jadi yang challenger sama LCQ itu buat tim di luar franchise yang bisa bertanding sama franchise league di champion. Cuma yang tim franchise ini 10 nanti kumpul di satu negara. Kemarin sih gue nontonnya begitu.
But at some point they need to tighten the screws a little bit and not allow this one to slip away. How many times have we seen a team win 4 rounds off the
rip? Ini bangsat ya OP si Sengkang ini. Ngengkang ini. Sampai tai banget sumpah.
Sampai jago sih.
Thank you.
Dua lagi.
Nih lu lihat.
Just quick scopes it.
Kang.
Already waiting. That's the paranoia as well to help that swing out.
Anjing
masih talking about sloppiness from PRX, but I don't think that's an example of it
gitu,
at all.
tai.
You
Pede
expect
banget lu.
Kang to be pushed away.
Itu sampai ketembak ya, itu gue laporin. Gue laporin ke divisi Valorant di Riot Game.
And then
3
Chishu's
omong
there
nih.
to back him up.
Abang-abangan nih. Abang-abangan nih masa
Smoggy's
iya.
already burnt his dash, so gotta back away.
Killjet winnable, menang nih. Rotate 4-4 ya, percaya gue.
On the C side.
Enggak lu.
Smoggy is gonna need help at some point.
Can't really just lock this down on his lowsome.
And these are rounds where you don't want to do stuff like burn the rolling thunder, you know?
I think we give him another trip.
It's possible that they could just win the round with Haldong ulting, but you kind of want to save that for situations that aren't 5v3s.
I do like this angle though from Smoggy, even that fault line to help him out.
Bapaknya Laten disuruh bawa trap chamber 2 lagi, ogah gua. Nggak mau gua. Gua walaupun memakai chamber tidak sudi sih.
Kurang banget anjing. Orang mau nge-flank gimana ceritanya tadi.
Apa sih Smoggy sih? Apa sih?
Ayo Tomorrow,
Abang-abangnya di deleted coy nih abang-abangnya.
Kangkang tai banget dah ya.
Lu lihat.
Reinforce Kangkang's position and then reinforce Smoggy's position, anchoring A
Gila.
towards the end.
Gila sih menurut gua.
At this point, if you're PRX, you cannot allow your opponents to get back into this one. You have a sizable lead.
Yopia ya, Yopia.
Pia Jogja, Pia Jogja.
Pia Jogja ya.
Kangkang taking a lot of liberties. In fact, I mean, PRX have been doing a decent job, I think, of using utility to try and clear him out of the angles that he's often been holding. The trouble is, the guy just disrespects it.
Yeah.
Doesn't care.
Yeah. And that's the same thing that Forsaken and Jing are going to do themselves.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is why so many people have been talking about comparisons and similarities between these two teams, because Kangkang plays in a crazy, aggressive manner that is only really replicated by Forsaken and Jing out of all of our players and champions.
Yeah. Although the players themselves would argue against that in terms of similarities. They both play, there's some fast, aggressive play styles, don't get me wrong, but you know, personally, they've, I believe it was Kangkang who was saying in an interview that doesn't really see it too much in terms of them copying their style.
Yeah, he said we're not copying PRX. We have our own unique play style, and I think that's borne out in this game.
Yeah,
they don't look like a mirror image of PRX. They look like they have their own approach to things.
No prisoners.
And they've been very creative with the defensive setups. Here's a 3-player stack over towards mid,
and I gotta say, one of the most important rounds potentially now in this map. With the money investment on the side of PRX, there's a lot of ultimates that Edward Gaming are working with to try and stop this one. A jiggle pick, that is a shot through the wall.
And nobody pushing all the way up. This close range space being gained. There is a cam.
Udah deh, Tens lu jangan diapa-apain, dan ide deh lu. Operator udah OP, lu mau auto kayak main.
Gila, main free ngumpetnya di silong anjing. Ngumpetnya di silong anjing.
There's players behind as well.
Otaknya
flank.
Reading the game very nicely.
They've dealt with this
one.
Nice one. Still though, you don't want to lose your grip on this round. No one was handed to you. A slight jiggle there of the movement. Nobody has been baiting these shots impeccably. But now this late lurk that's coming through is everything from Mindfreak. He needs to get value out of this one, but he hasn't spotted it. Maybe just the cape, but he knows the players are pushing up. It's down now to Chichu.
And this one too. This one he can go for.
Flying back around, he's aware of this one. Flick to the side, not enough. The shot does not find his target. It's Mindfreak again. Now, one more round will do it for PRX.
Yeah, they move up
timingnya tai banget sumpah dari tadi.
match point here.
Anjing du OP bangsat Smoggy sama Kangkang.
And push EDG as
Bener
the first team to lose a match at Champions, but I've only been impressed with what I've seen from this Chinese team.
Ini makin delay ya pengnya. Jangan banyak komen lu.
This round ended up getting destroyed by
Langsung dari Valorant aja anjing.
Udah ya.
He was over in the same area of the map that he is now, simply
Ya,
waiting
kamera salah tuh.
through mid. And that's what he's going to be doing quite a lot here, just controlling the flanks, controlling the aggression, using Benkai's cam.
Gue pengen lihat dikata-katain gak nih abis game ini.
It's a double op setup here.
Ngeri sumpah gue kalau dia pegang op, sumpah ngeri gue.
PRX have enough utility to be able to push both operators away. They've just got to hope that Kankang remains static over here on stage. If Kankang starts roaming around as well as Smoggy, PRX might be in a bit of trouble.
Kurang lebih emang defaultnya semua meta kayak gini ya. Chamber pasti satu side di
Ini nonton di mana nih? Delay nggak?
Gua nggak tahu lu nyampe mana.
50.
Iya, sama-sama.
Wah, defect.
Kali. Lagi dong. Aduh, silongnya udah push lagi nih orang.
Ya ke A.
Oke, Jing, lihat terus, Jing.
Tapi ketahuan.
Time is running low, Josh. 30 seconds in this one, and you can feel a bit of overheat, maybe a bit of pressure being applied to both of these players.
Sambil lari begitu, anjing. Lu lihat, dia sambil lari begitu.
Gila, anjing.
Aduh, ada ulti bridge buat delay. Lu mesti plan sekarang, nggak bisa lu nggak plan sekarang.
There's a rolling thunder here that should just block the plant from going down entirely.
Not going to be able to get this one off. They need to find the kills. Flash over the top. That's going to be Jing finding it, but they still need to get the spike down, and they've just about stuck it.
Tuh, tadi udah bener di B, mereka overthinking.
Iya, mereka mikir aja.
Gila itu si Kangkang bener-bener loh.
Kangkang tai, Cok. Sumpah nge-cheat anjing.
Begitu bisa quick scope. Nggak jelas anjing.
Nih lu lihat.
Bisa tahu gitu, tai.
Apa sih?
Ini Kangkang
Si
nge-cheat
Edward
sumpah.
siapa sih? Ini Edward mana sih? Sinilah ketemuan lah di Indonesia. Edward Gaming. Hey. Edward mana sih Edward? Nemu aja lu si Kangkang. Tapi dia hebat ya, di Cina nggak domain maknya ya.
Iya anjing.
You also enggak. Gimana PGs? Tahu tuh satu.
Gila 4 second, bro.
Nyala deh.
He knows.
Ini loh.
Mau diadu Smoggy yang 4 second deh.
Smoggy with blade song of his own.
Nggak ada des lagi.
Mentality breakdance anjing.
It's a brutal crossfire.
Let's go.
Yep. GG bro. Aduh. GG. Balik lu ke Cina anjing.
Oh, BK marah.
Mana nih, kita lihat nih.
Ren, if the rest of the games are champions or anything like that one, this could be the best tournament yet.
It's been leading up to it, hasn't it, Josh?
It really has.
The quality of play from every team at every single international event.
Kita lihat dulu.
Getting up to this point has just been going up and up. There are no weak teams in this tournament.
Mantap, guys.
And normally these opening games of groups are not going to have too many stakes attached. If you lose it, you've still got to route back through. If you win it, you've still got to play more in order to qualify for playoffs. But this one, it felt a little different. First time seeing Pearl, first time seeing EDG on the global stage as well, and I felt like both delivered. Not only did both teams look confident on Pearl, show us new ideas, new setups, look prepared, but we also got to see EDG.
Second, bos. PRX nih, bos.
And we got to see Jing play Rain.
Good looks, I think, from both sides. Jing still got the confidence there in his back pocket to be able to carry them
Ini
through.
gila sih, 4 second mulai nyala.
EDG as well. I mean, credit to these guys. They've been playing with a sub in this one.
Jelas nih.
They've been iterating it every now and then over the course of the series, but they're not playing at full strength, and still they're bringing.
Sejak ini sih dia
finalists of Copenhagen, by the way, this close.
Yeah, that is just fantastic.
JJ, come on, man.
Also, one of the other factors to